Howdy, y'all.
Ah,
Hello, everyone.
That wasn't the expected opening, but I guess it works.
And welcome back to Rolling With It. Welcome to the stream. Hope y'all are doing good. This is our third episode here in Gaecia, back to our Gaecia campaign. I really should plan out what I'm going to say in intros. Hello, I am your Dungeon Master for this evening, Crazy Fit. Hope you enjoy my world. Someone else, go.
I'm Britty. I'm excited to be here. We've hopefully worked out all of the technical kinks. I'm trying very hard on the back end to make sure this works smoothly.
Yeah, so there were a few technical issues last stream. Hopefully this will be much higher quality and much easier and nicer to watch. Because the last 15 minutes of the VOD just evaporated into thin air and we have no idea where on earth it is, we will be recreating the very end of last session purely so we have it, like a recording of it, so it can then be edited and put up on YouTube. So if anyone was wondering, I don't think anyone was, but if anyone was wondering where the previous VOD is, I am waiting for that little bit so I can cut it out of this episode, copy paste it into the end of that one, and then they'll both be uploaded this Friday, hopefully. That is the plan. But yes, since we're talking about the YouTube channel, as always, if you missed some of the stream or you've got a friend who wants to catch up, just rolling with it on YouTube. I believe there is a link to it on our Twitch profile. And it's been posted in the chat. Thank you, Britty. But yes, check out there. We the VOD of the week's game will be uploaded 8 o'clock UK time every Friday. That is the plan from here on out, unless we have more issues, which we might. Matt,
and
who
you
are
have to
you?
be there exactly at that time, because that's how YouTube works.
I can schedule it to upload at 8 o'clock, and then it'll be approximately then.
No, they have to be there.
If it's not at 8 o'clock, you have to wait for the next week to upload it. I don't make the rules, I just follow them.
Yeah. Anyway, Matt, who are you?
I am Phoenix White, Ganassi Wizard.
Riley.
I'm Riley. I'm playing Yareth, Warlock Gnome, even though he claims he's a wizard. I am constantly streaming in my head, even if I'm not out loud. I don't know why I said that, but you're welcome. Yes.
I imagine, yeah.
Nat.
Yeah, I'm Nat. I'm playing Althea. I also have Chocolate Mousse at the moment, so I have zero problems.
Ooh.
Nice.
Jealous.
Our final player is Luminath, who is currently having slow laptop issues, so they'll be joining us very, very soon.
How dare you, Lumi? Unacceptable.
How dare they have a
This
life.
is for you to watch on the VOD later. Shame on you. Boot up your laptop earlier. Oh, hey.
We were just slandering you.
No,
Speak the devil's name.
I didn't say anything. I would never.
We were,
No, it was
slandering
the other
you.
Britty.
I think she's come to expect that. This.
Yeah, it's all the other Brits.
Yeah. She didn't do too well. Maybe we'll meet in a second. But yes, that's everywhere. We'll talk about more things later on. For now, let's just jump into the game. Appropriate music. Let's give them that one, and then take you over to the map. So, previously on Gaecia, our unlikely group of traveling companions had recovered Althea, our ASMR bard's hide that she had been tasked to deliver to the small village of Outfarm. But had unfortunately been attacked by bandits and they'd been taken. She found some friends in a nearby pub, and then they all went out to reclaim them together after an altercation where it was originally planned to be solved by an honourable duel before Phoenix, our Ganassi decided that his way was best. Stepped in an all-out brawl in short, where only a handful of the bandits managed to escape with their lives, including the leader. But after exploring around what the bandits had gathered, they got a few trinkets and stuff they were to resell for some coin. They also found a note intended for the bandits' leader. We quickly put that on screen just so people can see it if they wish to read it. It seemed that this group of bandits were not just reckless, common, attack anybody for a profit. They seemed to be tasked somehow to track down something known as the Fenicama, which no one particularly knows much about. That was meant to be transported in some sort of disguise in the few days under which Althea had been attacked herself. Unsure what they could do to potentially solve this. Our group decided to just carry on with Althea's delivery. In fact, they were able to complete it, and they picked up some wool for transport back to Althea's home city of Kazmir. I'm hearing myself. I think it's from Nat.
My apologies. I don't know what's happening.
It's all right.
Do any of us ever really know what's happening?
No.
I don't.
Hey,
Hence
hey.
the streaming.
We can know.
Say hello, Lumi. Who are you?
What?
Say hello to the stream. We are streaming.
Oh, hello, stream. Yeah, I know we're streaming. I just didn't hear the question.
Who are you playing?
Big Orc Lady Go Brewer.
I mean, accurate.
Sure.
Does she have a name?
I'm playing Yarashi Broketooth, known as Ash. I don't know why my voice goes this posh whenever we stream. I talk like a chav the rest of the time.
It's 'cause
She's
you
cool.
are
She's a barbarian.
Yeah, okay. So after picking up a new delivery for Kazmir, the party carried on their way. They had a few interesting discussions between them, and then kind of along the way they heard what can only be described as a blood-curdling scream from several minutes kind of down the road ahead of them. Racing forward to find the source, our group of travellers kind of eventually came across what can only be described as a massacre, what you can see on screen here. It seemed that there had been some sort of convoy of carts that seemed to be travelling along the road in the same direction Althea herself was originally travelling. And there were these wagoners who seemed to be being attacked by bandits. However, somehow something had killed them, or not just killed them, they'd been brutally dismembered. Some of their chest torn open, decapitated. One unfortunate fellow was even torn in half. Kind of exploring this, they came across this.
Unfortunate. If you're gonna die, that's the way to do it.
I mean, an ill-tempered owlbear who they assumed had caused this. It was a close scrap between the party and this creature, but fortunately, due to the fact he was already wounded, they were able to overcome it. However, as it died, they discovered it was not comprised of flesh and blood. Instead, somehow mysteriously, spontaneously formed from nearby material, namely a massive chunk taken out of the earth in the ground, including some of the cart, and even some of this fellow who, it seems death was caused by part of his body being used up to create this owlbear monstrosity thing. Unsure why this happened. Phoenix, who kind of contemplated what could do this, and he discovered this is something incredibly powerful, and he's a tiny bit scared of it, as he rightly should be. But as they kind of explored what was remains to find any possible trace of this thing known as the Phenicama, as this appears to be another attack linked to it. They found in one of the carts here a small Tabaxi child who was seemingly, being transported by these Wagoneer people. Although, due to the kind of the newness of their clothes and kind of their general get-up, the party doesn't think these are Wagoneers by trade. It seems to be some sort of disguise. Althea kind of felt some compulsion to look at this child, and so she kind of walked forwards towards the cart, and kind of she sensed something within it. There's some kind of fluid, kind of alien power presence. She's not entirely sure what it is. Some kind of similar to her own, divine light, being an ASMR. She felt some kind of similar sort of thing to that within this child, but obviously not the same. Somehow, while questioning this child, some connection formed between Althea and this child. I think the way I described it was a door had been unlocked, but it was up to Althea to kind of try and open the connection to allow something to transfer between them. She did, and for the sake of recap, this is the bit that was cut out at the end of the stream in the VOD, so this is the bit we'll be going over, essentially. So while this Tabaxi child speaks, all of you can hear the words. She won't describe exactly how Althea will see it, but you'll get the general gist. As Althea, when you hear these words, you don't hear them as words. Instead, in your mind's eye, they seem to spawn some sort of vision, almost. The very first one is of a Tabaxi woman, kind of pure black fur, kind of dressed in not too nice clothing, and they seem to be cradling what can be described as a Tabaxi kitten. It doesn't look more than a few days or weeks old. Much like the adult, it is pure black. However, kind of right over the heart, there is a spot of white. As kind of the vision pans back from this scene, you kind of see that this couple is in this kind of very sparse room. It's literally just got a bed, bucket, and a plate of food. As it kind of, your viewpoint pans back a bit, you can see these kind of metal rods that seem to extend from floor to ceiling. You eventually realise this pair is jailed somehow. It's contained in some sort of cell. And kind of looking her child in the face, the Tabaxi woman will say, "I name you Hope." She kind of looks up and out of the cell. Hope for better days to come. And the vision will kind of shift to presumably several years later. The child is no longer kitten baby. It's more toddler, like 2 or 3 years old. They seem to be kind of boisterously ambling about the cell, kind of, as children tend to do, kind of making whatever game they can possibly think of. However, the mother seems to be trying to quieten it, kind of stymie the toddler's energy, hush it. You kind of hear the voices and stamping of feet down a nearby staircase. The mother seems scared of whoever seems to be coming down. The vision will shift again to a child who is approximately as old as the one before you. It is kind of quietly sitting on the bed next to the mother, who is brushing his hair. 2 figures seem to kind of be standing in front of the cell. However, You can't really make out their faces; they're kind of blurry and foggy. They seem to be muttering quietly to each other before one brings out a key and will unlock the door to this cell. Looking incredibly confused, the mother will kind of look towards the man who enters with a certain level of fear, but also a certain level of hostility. There's certainly some sort of spirit to her. She definitely hasn't been completely broken. Excuse me. Yeah. This man will kind of reach down to take Hope by the arm. He'll kind of try and pull her away. And as Hope looks up, his face comes into clear focus. You recognize it as this particular gentleman, whose, well, his body is here, but his head is somewhat over here. And as he tries to pull Hope away from her mother will kind of pull back. They kind of have this tug-of-war affair over the child. Eventually, the man will kind of overcome her, and he'll kind of wrestle Hope away, and he'll take her out of the cell, kind of pick her up, and as Hope kind of screams for her mother, she will be taken up the stairs. She also sees the second man kind of draw a knife, and they seem to enter the cell behind. The vision will shift once again. It is now Hope kind of in the cart. She is tired. She is hungry. She's clearly been trapped under here for days, weeks. Like, there's very few life signs left. She seems to be barely clinging on. You can hear the sounds of violence, of men shouting. And as this innocent mind is seemingly exposed to violence for the first time, she is incredibly scared. However, the sound of rasping steel and weapons being drawn kind of brings her mind back to the moment when the second man drew a dagger and entered the cell behind her mother's cell after she had left. You can feel this mind kind of new to the concept of violence, potentially putting two and two together in its head. And there's this deep sense of loss, but also this incredibly strong, burning anger. And as this anger burns and builds within this child, you can hear the kind of screeching roar of the owlbear and the blood-curdling scream that originally kind of alerted you to the massacre ahead. The second man who drew the dagger is now over here. He is the man who is torn in half. And as the kind of vision fades, the door is closed, and you hear the clicking of a lock out there. Kind of as you blink for a moment, kind of confused by what just happened, you look down the road ahead of you. You see far further than your eyes have ever seen before, far further than any you would naturally ever see in a much higher detail. There is a brown-robed and hooded figure. He's kind of standing kind of at the boughs of a nearby tree line. You sense that you're looking in the eyes and you can't make them out. They are somehow seeing you over this extended distance. And as you make eye contact, this figure will turn and will disappear into the forest. As I say, the rest of you heard this in words, if not in the same vision. I believe Fleet decided to gather the child up, kind of take them away from the violence without letting them see it.
As much as possible, yeah.
As much as possible. What is everybody else doing?
Just having a look into the cart.
The cart the child was in?
Obviously, yes. So obviously, Fleet gathered her up. But is there fur kind of left over on any of the cloth?
Possibly a few stray hairs, like.
I'll take some time, gather up as much as I can, and then
Sure.
use the vial I purchased to gather up some blood from one of these corpses.
Which one?
It really doesn't matter.
Is it just this nearby fellow?
Yeah, and then I'd go right up at the edge of the crater, smear or pour blood as realistically as I could, as if it's splattered out, then sprinkle the hair in.
Fair enough.
And then I'd go after Fleet.
Sure. Anybody else?
Well,
Sorry, scratch that. I would stay and support Althea because she just fell unconscious, I believe.
Because every episode has to end with Althea being unconscious.
Oh yes, of course. You said she fainted after you see the video, right?
Oh, classic.
I believe that was what happened.
Poor soft girl. I don't think Yarashi has a clue to do with children of any species. Well, no, she probably does, but like, not in this context. So she's just kind of just gonna, I don't know, wipe some blood off her axe and then go around.
It's probably
Yes.
a whole lot of blood.
yes. I think it might be best if we Arashi, shall we go and get the horses together while these are getting sorted? That was a lot.
Okay. Yes. Fine. Yeah, she'll happily do that.
You sure you guys don't want to sit, take a breather? You look pretty battered.
Well,
yes,
but
I'm fine.
Maybe, but just make sure that the horses, like, I haven't checked on them in a while. I don't know. Just want to check that they're all here. Bring them closer, tie them up.
Yareth.
Be awesome. Yeah, yes.
Yareth.
Yes.
Fine. We're all fine. Okay. Let's go check the horses and then we'll come back and sit down.
Okay, chap. Sounds good.
Chap count. One.
First chap of the session.
Chap of the day.
Update the chap counter.
Okay. So, if we're going to kind of leave, I guess, the site, I guess, is probably the best way of putting it, of this event. Sorry, I'm doing something. 2 seconds. Okay. So make your way back to where you had abandoned your wool carts. You can kind of, put the child nestled within the wall, and they'll be relatively secure for the time being. You can kind of, if there's anything people particularly want to do, you can carry on your journey. You've got a couple hours. You could keep going before you'd want to stop for the evening.
Fleet is just gonna fall asleep.
Get started.
Right
Make sure
next to the
Althea's in the back if she's still.
Sure.
I guess Phoenix will begrudgingly take over Althea's horse and cart.
Fleet is just gonna fall asleep straight next to the kid if she is allowed. Because Fleet is also exhausted.
Sure. When you have 3 carts, so you need at least 3 people driving. But you've got Phoenix, Urashi, and you're sure you way out.
I've forgotten characters' names.
Come on, man. Yes, lead Von Knucklestone.
It's not hard to remember. He's only got 16 names.
Look,
You can kind of
Along with every
just because
skirt
I was
around.
just because I was raised better and given a better name.
So you can kind of skirt the carts around the site of the incident. You just leaving the bodies there?
As undisturbed as possible.
Sure.
Although at one point he would kind of maneuver the cart closer to Yurashi's, probably after a few minutes of
Of
hesitation.
course, you can have whatever discussions you would like before you settle in for the night.
I don't know, it's not really my area of expertise.
Uh-oh, I died.
I don't know. Trying to cover up
We didn't hurt them. We killed the thing that attacked them.
Well, no, I'm
Not
more worried about the fact that people seem to be coming after that kid. And, well, we now have her. Which means if people know we have her, people will be coming after us.
that's a good point.
Like,
How
I'm
far?
not saying get rid of the kid or anything. It's a good thing she's alive, and based on what
Perhaps
she
we're going to make sure
provides.
there's less trace of us coming and going.
I tried to do a little bit, making them think
well,
the kid was dead, but I'm not a survivalist.
what might work? We could try and get the trap go back and forth a few times. So it looks like several people have been in different directions. That might do it. Thinking that this is a good idea, Ferret. What would Ash kind of think it entailed?
I mean, there are carts on the road pretty much all the time. So naturally, you're usually leading up to the site and leading away. You probably shouldn't be worried about that. It's no leak.
Okay.
No way
So
anywhere.
we're not. I don't think I don't think we really have a track to cover as such.
Well,
I would look over the
you
group then and just think.
towards the end of last session, you kind of traced your own combat, because you rolled a good survival check. So you could go back and try and cover as much of that up, make it look like it was part of the original scrap. It probably wouldn't be too hard because for someone who didn't realize there were two separate fights, they wouldn't necessarily draw the same conclusions you did as easily. But you could definitely go back and make it look like whatever markings you did leave are kind of just an extension of the original engagement. That probably wouldn't be too hard. You could do that in.
Yeah, I think in that case, I would probably go back and do that.
You can take one of the horses back and you can do that. Roll me a quick survival just to see how well you do it.
I feel like
It's not
I'm going to
it's not
roll
gonna be
really
too hard,
badly.
but-
You've got this. Absolutely no problem here.
Phoenix would just recommend, like, if it's too difficult to fully erase our tracks, just kind of focus on anything that would point back to specifically
That's
us.
not too bad.
Yeah, you feel.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to sort of divert attention,
Yeah,
not
you kind
raise
of
it.
maneuver a couple of rocks. You might have knocked, kind of create a few more kind of patches in the grass to kind of throw people off the scent. You kind of create the general impression that whatever tracks you did leave were just part of the border struggle. Perhaps it was more extended than it might actually have been. You're fairly confident that no one could definitely link it to you, let alone that there was anybody else who had arrived before, like at the time. That anyone
Awesome.
arrived before them when they arrive, if they're a good tracker. Yes, you feel confident that you can keep on going on.
Okay, awesome. I'm happy with that.
Thank you for that. It'll help me sleep a bit easier tonight.
Well, it was a good idea. It's always worth doing. Perhaps we should try and make a habit of it. Although I'm hoping we don't have too many encounters like this. Enjoy them, though I do. They're not something one wants to encourage.
I've met a lot of halflings that would vehemently disagree with you there. Those guys always seem to be picking a fight of some kind.
I think we would probably get on. Wait, you said halflings. Did you mean half-orcs?
No, the halflings.
Oh,
It's-
sick.
It's something about the height.
In that case,
More people get very
stand
angry
with my
very
response.
quickly.
No,
Oh my god, guys! It's just like small dog syndrome, but for people.
I traveled
I
through
mean,
Hirana a while.
I would
Met
know.
more than a few.
That explains the dwarves. We've already solved the entire campaign. We're in only the third session.
We've solved the campaign. Sorry, Ferret.
Okay. So, unless there's anything else people particularly want to do, you can kind of keep going for a couple more hours. So there's only 4, maybe 5 hours left, journey left before you get to Ratherford. So you'd arrive kind of mid-afternoon tomorrow. You kind of set up your camp for the evening. Mark off trail rations. Someone will have to feed your latest acquisition as well. She probably won't eat as much as a full person, but still an equal amount of rations. I don't know if there's anything we would like to do around the campfire.
Aha! Well, being an outlander, I can find food for everyone.
Oh.
I mean, yeah,
I can find food for up
you
to
could
5
do that.
people, but myself and 5 people. So yeah, I can feed everyone. I can go and catch some rabbits or something.
I mean, yeah, you could do that if that's how you want to spend your evening, because it's still a process. It's just
I'm
share rations can just about.
I'm quite happy to spend my evening doing that.
Well, Arashi will disappear for a few hours. She'll kind of come back, with a couple of rabbits, maybe some sort of small game, bird. She'll kind of butcher it and be able to whip up some sort of passable stew. Maybe mark off 2 rations between you, because obviously you've got the ingredients will go into the stew, such as like herbs and all that. Maybe have some bread with it. But you definitely vastly reduce the amount.
Nice. I'll take one of my rations off then, since
Sure.
I'm doing the feeding.
I'll do one of mine.
So you can all have this much nicer than you would have just dried meats and stuff that you typically have from trail rations. The Tabaxi will especially appreciate it. Actually, let me. Yeah, kind of as you feed it to her, and she kind of described her time in prison. Arashi, you're probably familiar with this a little bit, where someone who hasn't had proper food for an extended period, when presented with something wholesome, might have difficulty keeping it down. Hope will kind of give a couple of signs of this. You think, oh no, please don't throw it, but she is able to keep it down, although you might have to keep that in mind in future to not feed her stuff that's too rich.
We'll bear that in mind. The child doesn't like stew.
Well, she doesn't like it. It's just, it's very rich compared to what she's had her entire
Excellent.
life.
Well, in that case, she'll get used to it. Problem solved.
Once Hope is asleep and everyone else is still awake, Fleet is just gonna pull them off to the other side of the fire, just away so they can have a hushed conversation. Do y'all know how to... This is a very weird question to ask so soon into being friends. Are any of y'all parents?
Is Althea awake at this point?
Yeah, she would be. She would be being very quiet.
You are all on the younger end of the scale.
Yes,
Rashi's 19. Fleet's 40, so it's kind of 20-ish in human years. Phoenix is 19 as well. Yareth is about 60, which is again kind of 20 in gnome.
Fucking gnomes, man.
How old Althea is? Were you 22 or something?
23. Althea.
23. So Althea is the oldest. So 23 is not implausible to have a child. So you would guess not, considering how much she's been traveling.
Well, Fleet does not know or understand any of this, so she's still going to ask, do any of y'all have kids?
No.
Do any of y'all know how to take care of kids?
Look at me. Do I look like I know how to take care of children?
I don't have kids, but I did have lots of sort of Well, my family is quite large, lots of little cousins and things running around, so I've got some idea of how to keep one alive, but that's about it.
Oh dear, I'm the most experienced one here. That's no good. Well, in my family, we were not a standard family from what I've seen and what I've heard. We were, I don't know, I want to say there was nearly 100 of us, if not more. Hard to keep count, but most of my life has been being taken care of, but I did spend a bit of time taking care of some of the younger ones, so...
Well, we'll work it out, right?
Yeah, I mean...
May I ask, would it be best to not inquire in the next town over if there was a family that could adopt her or foster her for a bit, as opposed to coming on the road with us? Because
Yareth, I would think if there are people hunting her, the next town over might not be far enough away to be safe.
okay,
Yeah.
maybe not the next town over, but a town. Because let's be honest here, this is the second fight we've been in as many days. Yes, granted, this one was with a owlbear of some sort, but it's still not exactly the best life for a child.
She seems fine to me.
Because she wasn't in the fight.
Not exactly.
Yeah, if that happens again... I mean... Well,
I'm no expert in this, but if we get ambushed by someone, there is a high likelihood that she could get hurt.
And if whatever made
that's kind
that
of true for anyone
bugbear...
in an ambush.
If whatever made that bugbear happens again, or whoever did it comes back, can we handle that?
Owlbear, not bugbear, just to avoid confusion.
We handled the first one, and if we don't, I think we got bigger concerns
And
than the kid.
also,
While it was injured.
in fairness, we did go looking for the other fight.
The first one we were looking for, that's fair. But...
I will again state, it's the second fight in as many days, and may I note, the second fight that some of us have ever been. I'm not exactly experienced with combat. Neither is Althea.
I've just got a sneaking suspicion that the fighting is not following us, and it's probably following the kid.
Which brings us to the probably the most important point. What are we doing with this kid?
I don't know, but we're certainly not just gonna leave her. Maybe...
I mean, maybe this is a broader question of what are we doing? 'Cause
Okay.
Well, right
I
now we're
signed on
protecting
just
the
to help
kid.
Althea get her goods over to this town. Now we've got a Tabaxi kid.
Yes, I mean, if I'm being honest, I'm just trying to get some experience out in the real world for a year or so. So this is fine for me, but
Well,
I
you're
do
getting the
agree.
accelerated course from the look of things.
It seems that way, doesn't it? The voice is going a bit weird again. Give me one moment.
Do you...
Just say chap.
Bang on, chap! Right, here we go. The voice is back. Right, look. I'm only out for a year or so trying to get some experience, so this is all fine by me. However, I do agree that if we are going around around towns and whatever, we should, like, maybe not depositing the kid off at the earliest convenience, but keeping an eye out for, like, some good parents or some people looking to adopt a child.
I mean...
See if we can...
We
Like, obviously, not to the first person, because it may be that they are looking for her, and then just, we've accidentally deposited her to the people that want her. I don't know.
We could go back out to the Badlands, drop her off with my family. They know
How far away is that?
Good question.
Quite away.
It's a distance, but it'd be far enough away from whoever's coming after her. We would have to go through the Faltorn Woods, but...
Okay, so
You've got to engage
we keep her with us to keep an eye on her and make sure she's safe while we sort this stuff out for Althea and, I don't know, sort out any other problems we come across, and then we gradually work our way around to Fleet's family. It seems about right to me.
I mean, my family's always willing to take in strangers.
Problem solved then.
I was going to
I'm-
say, you took us
Probably a
in
month's
readily enough.
travel to your family fleet.
Hmm?
Probably be at least a month's journey to your family.
That's fine. A month with a kid isn't that long.
With the cart and with stopping for food, yeah, it'd be a month or so.
That's
Whereabouts is your
assuming that
family?
that's assuming that Althea, if she wants, no, the voice is done again. Chaps, that's
Yeah.
assuming that Althea, if she wants to join us, can get out of her job.
I would argue
Yeah, we
that
can
taking
sort
care
that.
of a kid is important enough to get some time off work.
For a month there and a month back.
Althea is living her goods at the Casimir, which is right at the north of Acheran. So it's kind of on the way.
Yeah, it's
You
on
could-
the way.
Could kind of follow the road up and maybe round like that. That could be one way of going. I mean, you could kind of try and head through the woods like that.
I think stopping with Casimir is probably the best idea, so we can get some time off for Althea. Argue that we are saving the life of a child and we're trying to get him to a home that isn't going to kill him.
There's also the matter of trauma. I could probably argue from a point of, I've been through quite a lot in the past.
Some requested time
days.
off. And who knows what's going to happen between then and now. You might have even more.
Just
hopefully not,
saying something in an upbeat way does not make it upbeat. That is still a very dangerous idea.
Oh, but it's a little fun, don't you think? I mean, having something to do.
Hands up, all those that have nearly died in the last 2 days.
Fleet excitedly puts a
Actually
hand up.
keeps her hands down.
Fleet has excitedly put her hand
3
up.
HP in the first fight, you did almost die.
She's not going to
Yep, but I
admit it.
don't see it that way.
Fennec doesn't move.
And I had fun with it.
I would particularly like to still be here in a month, being able to raise my hand to that question, rather than not being able to raise my hand at all. If you understand that.
Look, I don't know exactly how the fates have aligned to bring this group of people all together, but you're all family now, and I'm not going to let anything happen to you. You understand that, right?
Not really, no.
I appreciate that. I really do. But I'm not going to seek out danger left, right, and center to save a child.
Well, we're not seeking out danger.
Okay.
We're gonna be trying to avoid it if
Yeah.
possible, but there's probably going to be
We
danger.
can seek out danger for other reasons, Yarth.
Ash, you're not understanding my point. I don't particularly want to seek out danger full stop.
Okay, well then we let the danger seek out us. I don't really understand
Okay,
what your problem is.
I would prefer to not fight things. Yeah, Ash, I was about to call you Yareth then. For goodness sake, I would prefer it if we didn't die every couple of hours.
Oh, none of us are dead, are we?
I almost died.
You're fine. You're being so dramatic.
Ash, I am not from a place where fighting is the normal. I am from a place of education and quite sophisticated living, I'll have you know.
You're
Thank you
trying
very
to
much.
argue that I don't have an education.
No, I'm not saying that at all. However, as I've said, I have not been in a fight before yesterday, and today I almost died. That is absolutely terrifying.
Hey,
I
but
don't
you
know if
only
you understand how scared I am right now of everything.
Earth. You'll get better at fighting, and then you
I
won't
don't
be scared.
particularly want to.
And then
Yareth,
you'll stay scared, won't you?
Yareth, if you don't want to get better at fighting, that's fine. We'll protect you. Just like we're protecting Hope.
exactly.
I was going to say, Yareth, if you're worried about injuries and such, surely you've seen, I'll do my best to make sure you never succumb to them. I mean, that goes to all of you, but there's only so much I can do at the moment.
I appreciate that, and I know that if it wasn't for you, then I wouldn't be here right now, but I don't want to seek out situations right now that will put us in that situation again.
We're not seeking it out, but we're not gonna let this child behind. The danger, if this child is the Fenacama or whatever, obviously they've got danger following them.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I want to
So-
explore this whole Fenacama thing, because if this kid is that and she caused that owlbear, that's magic unlike I've ever seen. And I mean, if you hadn't noticed, that's interesting.
So, what I'm saying is, it's either we put ourselves in the way of the danger, or the danger gets to Hope. And I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I'm not letting the danger get to Hope. Y'all with me?
Gareth, listen. We won't enter into a fight. It's too much for us. It's as simple as that. We'll protect ourselves, we'll protect the kid, and that'll be it for the moment.
Consider it this way, Yareth. All the times that you're not in mortal peril will be fantastic opportunities to learn. That's
Fucking love Althea!
that's how I operate. Every moment's a blessing. Learn something new in them.
And I'll put it another way. When you heard that scream on the road, you ran towards it. And then Phoenix will stand up, move over to the fire, and kind of pinch out some of the ash, and begin setting up an alarm spell around the camp by sprinkling the ash in a 20-foot cube.
24.
I will state for the record, I didn't run after it. I just made Greyguard go slightly faster.
I believe
But,
the
but yes.
session was a concerned shuffle.
You still went towards it.
It seems like someone upstairs has decided to move around furniture, so my microphone's going to be on mute for a bit while I figure out how long that's going to be.
Sure.
Okay, look. I'll stick with you all to save this child. But if I need to, I will run. I'm just going to warn you all straight up.
That's fine.
You tell yourself whatever you need to, friend. If there's no more discussion for the night, after the alarm spell, Phoenix is going to spend, I don't know, half an hour making a very quick and dirty kiln with his shovel to make some charcoal overnight.
Sure.
Like quick and dirty. This is literally just a
Yeah.
packed earth kiln to make a small amount of charcoal.
Sure. You can probably do that. Okay. So if there's nothing else people like to do in the evening, shall move on to the night. Is anyone keeping a watch?
I'd say try and take series of watches.
Whichever watch that Yareth takes, Althea will make certain that she's on that watch as well.
Okay, so long rest is 8 hours. A watch is 2 hours. So there's 4 slots, and there are 5 of you. So
Ash is more than happy to take one on her own.
Phoenix is just going to sleep. He's not even used to the concept of watches. He has an alarm spell.
sure.
Yeah, so what? Fleet, then Ash, then Yareth and Althea, leaving 2 hours unaccounted for?
If that's how you like to play it.
But 2 hours would be the morning, so hopefully it will be fine.
Okay. So, Fleet, what are you doing during a watch? Are you carving? You doing exercises? Like, how are you alleviating the boredom?
Hmm.
Cool.
I feel like
Your watch will pass peacefully, fleet. Rashi.
She isn't too bothered either. She doesn't find it boring to be on watch, so she just is.
You're just sitting.
Maybe, I don't know, menacingly sharpening. No. She'll probably take some time to care for her sort of her axe and her bits and pieces, make sure all of her
Your
belongings are in order and clean and everything. Yeah.
the routine chores. Sure. Your watch will also pass uneventfully. Gareth and Althea.
Yareth will spend his time occasionally using prestidigitation to change the light of the fire to make sure that it's bright enough, but bright enough to see, but dim enough so that it's not massive, but otherwise studying his book.
Sure.
And taking sips from his flasks.
Althea will probably, seeing Yareth using prestidigitation to change the color of the fire, will also use her prestidigitation to ever so slightly change it after he does, and every now and again just asking about what's in his book and sort of where he picked up certain spells.
Oh, it's just my spell book. It's mostly chit and scratch. Don't suppose you'd probably be able to read it. My handwriting's abysmal. But no, most of my spells I learned at good old QU, apart from this one and minor illusioner bird on the log that Althea sat on. I just know that from my heritage, I guess.
A lot of my spells are like that. I just sort of make things happen, you know?
So you didn't train anywhere?
No, not really. It just, you know, I consider them favors from, I guess, as my father, however you want to put it.
Were you born with them, or did you wake up one day being able to cast them?
Oh, well, I've always been able to do this. And she'll cast light, just creating like a, maybe taking out a coin and just making it glow gently with yellow light. Then
Not to
sort of
imagine Fleet will kind of roll over and go at the bright light.
and then sort of quickly palm it to snuff the light. Then she'll say, but the other stuff sort of came as I got older. I think as I got stronger physically, he knew that I had to get stronger magically as well to support and look after the people around me. You know.
I think I know you, chap. Is it, you say him? Is it like a connection sort of thing, or is it just he looks down on you and gives you these gifts, as you put it?
I don't really know the mechanics of it, but I mean, where else would they come from? I'm hoping one day I might bump into him, but it's remarkably tricksy, very often hidden. Who knows? Hopefully, though.
I find a lot of the gods tend to be. Barely. I'm still not sure to this day if our boy Chiu actually exists or not, if it's just a facade with his office.
You might have seen him a couple of times, like you might have given an address or whatever. Like he is occasionally seen publicly.
That doesn't necessarily mean Yareth paid attention.
No, I'm not saying Yareth would. I am saying there would have been opportunities.
Yeah.
Like if he's known to be, appearing somewhere, that word will spread, and people, especially come to see him. Like I'm not saying you did. I'm just saying there's definitely opportunities where you could have, if you would have wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, he made his speeches. Is Yareth what?
A conspiracy theorist. Like the god isn't real.
I mean, he made his speeches, but outside of those, who knows if he was really was gallivanting off here knows where? I know I would. Gets bored in an office all day.
Well, I'm
Dean of a magical university. If anyone could pretend to be a god.
I mean, your gallivanting meant that you met us. I'd say that's more than worth it already.
It's nice being with people that seem to have your back as much as you've got theirs for once. Please don't read into that. I know that sounded all weird and stuff. My life's very boring.
She's just grinning at Yareth, like that sort of knowing grin of like.
Oh, shut up, chap. It's nothing.
Chat count 2.
You said it way more.
You've missed several chaps there.
But that was the second one I definitely noticed.
I hope you know that I didn't really believe everything you were saying earlier.
About
I know I certainly wouldn't really know what to do with myself for a while if I just up and left all you lot, and I've got a feeling you feel the same way. She'll sort of like nudge his arm a bit.
Don't get me wrong, I don't exactly know what I'd do if I left you all. I'm just saying that I want to be honest in that if it's a difference between saving my own skin and that of the child, I'm going to save my own.
Right, yeah.
This current stage, at least.
That's fine. But you're still with
Call me
us.
cold-hearted. I am.
No, your name's Yareth.
Was that a deliberate joke? Or?
Yes. I'm trying to break the tension. Look, at the end of the day, you made the choice to help. That's all that matters.
Do you like to see the good in everyone, or just the people that seem damaged?
Everyone. I mean, even Mr. Grumpy Fire over there is good in him. Fleet is filled to the brim with good, and I think Yurashi's sense of honor is more than comparable to goodness. Plus, it never hurts.
I suppose you're right.
I think after that, she'll just sort of talk pleasantries with Yareth, make sure he doesn't get too bored during the watch.
Right, he seems relatively interested in his book, but if there's even a fraction of a second you kind of look something for perhaps ponder, you can say something to him.
Yeah. If you do look at Yareth's book, it is mostly, as he says, chicken scratch. There's some runes written down, and then he might flip through to a section that looks to be less spells and more just notes on experiences.
Sure. As your watch,
again, chicken scratch.
As your watch draws to an end, you both notice Hope, who had been conked out for probably many hours straight, because she must have gone to bed before most of you did. You will see her suddenly sit up, right, straight, just whoosh, bam. Her demeanor, it's immediately different from the kind of scared child that you met earlier today. Her posture is very fixed. The movement is incredibly deliberate. As she kind of looks towards you, you can see that her eyes are now solid yellow, now glowing ever so slightly.
Mm.
Althea, it is a pleasure to meet you.
Hello again, Hope. Everything okay?
Well, I am fine, but not sure I'm really the person you're asking. I come with a warning. And perhaps a hope, a certain level of purpose. You must get this child to, let me remember where. I know my own places. Eighthway. As fast as you possibly can. There will be people along the way who will help you. And there are people along the way who will try their hardest to prevent you. In fact, one of those people is already at work.
The figure in the cloak?
I'm not sure what figure you mean. Someone else has sent an agent after you. A being known as an invisible stalker. They cannot be seen.
Ah,
They cannot be heard. It is very hard to detect them before they have pounced upon you. I have reason to believe it is very close behind you. You must gather your friends and leave immediately. With all due haste. It will not follow you into the nearby settlement, but you must rely on your own skills and wits to get there.
can I ask who you are?
I think we'll meet at another time. Good luck.
Okay.
The light will kind of fade, her eyes will return to normal, and the posture will change to kind of just slightly hunched over. It will kind of rub her eyes. Hello? What time is it?
Oh, it's not quite time for you to wake up yet. If you can, if you could just go back to bed, and then when it's nice and early, in the morning, yeah, I'm sure we'll wake you up and we'll have a lovely big breakfast. I think Althea will just sort of be making sort of that sort of slow, gentle move to almost like herd Hope back to her bed.
All right. Can the pair of you make me perception checks, please?
I can certainly try. That's
Ferret,
pretty good for Yareth.
out of curiosity, did my alarm trigger when Hope spoke with this other voice?
Whenever tiny or larger creatures touches or enters the water area. No, you would not got a ping. Well, I assume you designated that everyone in the party would not set it off, say no.
Yeah.
Althea, you hear, kind of down the road, possibly a couple minutes journey away, you hear a loud cracking as if a branch has been stepped on.
Not liking that.
What on earth was all that about?
No, just a moment. I think I heard something.
Oh.
Right. Yes, get close to Hope quietly as you can.
Of course.
I'm going to snuff out this fire, I think. And Althea will sort of, I'll use prestidigitation to just sort of, she just quietly waves her hand over the fire to snuff it out, and then sort of almost like kneel down and just really try and focus her senses.
So you're just trying to like do whatever you possibly can to detect anything in your immediate area.
Yes.
Sure. Make another perception check. Why not? Okay. You hear the kind of sound of a branch kind of as if something's kind of pushed it aside and it's kind of twanged back into position again. It's definitely closer than the branch breaking. Probably faster than walking pace closer.
I don't. Okay. I'm going to go prod Urashi.
Okay.
Yurashi wakes quickly.
Something's inbound. I don't know what it is. I can't. It's on its way, and it's broken a twig. It's moved a branch. It's moving faster than just walking. You're the first one I thought of.
One thing or several things?
I can't tell. I think just something.
Okay. Yurashi. I mean, she's pretty used to sort of getting up and getting going very quickly. She picks up, grabs her axe, and looks out to see if she can see anything, which I assume she can't see any more than Althea, but she's waiting.
Sure. You can make me a perception check as well if you'd like.
Can I ask?
Oh, damn.
Even when sleeping, is Phoenix's hair still on fire?
He's not a Charmander.
I imagine it's still got a certain glow to it.
It's never not on fire.
I will use precipitation to try and dim it as much as possible while looking at the other two, like
I'm going to
sort
say
of looking at the two of them, looking at him.
I'm going to say it probably doesn't work particularly well because it's a person, like not a literal fire.
Yeah, that's
Probably
what I figured.
doesn't behave in the same way as a regular fire.
Thing's gonna know we're coming either way. Is my take on that. So,
Urashi, you didn't hear any snapping twigs or anything, but you do hear the kind of a bird that was disturbed, but presumably immediately prevented from calling.
right. So whatever is coming is also quick, and probably. I get the impression from that it's closer to a beast than person.
I mean, from that you don't get anything.
No, that's the assumption I'm making. But yeah, Yurashi is turning to face wherever she's heard the noise coming from.
It's the similar direction to where Althea would have suggested it was coming from.
Yeah. Okay. So she turns to face, axe in hand. We'll wait Fleet up as well, I guess.
Sure.
What the
Fleet,
hell?
shut up! Shut up!
What? What's going on?
Althea's heard something coming.
Shit.
Yeah.
Seeing Ash wake Fleet up, I'll poke Phoenix with quarterstaff and instantly just go, shh, don't say a thing, Phoenix.
Okay.
There are people coming, chap.
So as you kind of all wait, kind of almost anticipating it, Yareth and Althea, you will notice Hope kind of disturb again. You're kind of before she sat up, this time she will stand. Once again, the eyes are pure yellow and glowing slightly. The invisible stalker is closing in on you. While I admire your bravery, the time is not yet when you can face it and hope to live. I recommend speed.
Speed is something I can do.
Recognize the name Invisible Stalker?
I will let you and Yareth roll your choice of Arcana or Religion.
Jeez, look at you
You both
guys.
heard tales of like some kind of animating force, some kind of spirit has been taken from somewhere else, and is kind of chained to a master almost, and then it can follow whatever direction it gives. Normally, it's to find and retrieve a creature or object. It will kind of follow relentlessly, kind of any time of day, any weather, across any terrain. It can never be dissuaded from its task beyond an outright fight. And from the descriptions you've heard of it, it'd probably tear up that owlbear you met earlier and eat it for breakfast.
Yeah, as soon as
Nice.
he hears Invisible Stalker, Phoenix is on his feet, starting to pack him. He's like, right, okay, that's our cue to leave. Those things you don't want to mess with.
We're not asking questions about the golden eyes yet? Okay,
No,
later.
we're packing up and we're going now.
Okay,
Yeah, we need to
later.
go.
But
Yep, I
now.
agree.
I'm sorry, what's going on?
Don't worry, Hope. We're
Hope-
going to
No,
somewhere safe.
No
Hope-
time, no time.
Everyone, can we just bring the volume down a tiny bit?
It doesn't matter if it can hear us or not. At this point, Ash, we just need to go.
Yeah.
Hope, come
Fenix has
here.
already packed up. He will
All right.
take a moment and I don't know. I imagine we scavenged some supplies from that battle site. He's going to grab like just a fold of cloth and scoop up as much of the ashes from the fireplace as he can.
Yeah.
Just a big bag of ashes. He's also going to kick in his little kiln and grab some charcoal, and then he's going to be moving towards the horses.
Sure. Are you taking the carts?
if we want speed, we might not want the carts.
Carts
I
can't
don't
travel
think we
much
have-
faster than walking pace.
I don't think we have
This
enough
thing
horses
seems to be
to
traveling faster than walking pace.
How many horses total do we have?
There are 5.
hurry.
There are 3 carts, and then there were 2 extra horses.
So we have 5 horses. If Fleet holds on to Hope, that should fit all of us. Yes. Everyone's got their own horse.
So,
Pardon my language, Hope. Fuck the carts. We gotta go.
Phoenix will jog to a stop and go, that's not really up to us. And he'll kind of look at Althea.
The child comes first. We go.
Right, that's all the cue I need.
Yeah, Yurashi's aim is to, I guess, stand guard and give everyone else as much time as they can. She doesn't want to fight this thing either, but
as a point of note,
Fennec will run back,
not at a
slap
long
her on the
rest.
shoulder, and say, "No time for heroic last stands. Get on a horse."
as a point of note, you will not have had a long rest. It would have been broken.
Yep.
So you have a short rest at best. Just a point of note.
Uh,
So you kind of all,
I was gonna say, so Yareth is doing
various horses.
fine.
You kind of abandon the carts and kind of in a couple of minutes, under probably Arashi's kind of experience perhaps in the matter, you are able to break camp quite quickly, and set off at a gallop, kind of into the night.
Well, maybe not a gallop until we actually get back on the road.
Well, you weren't too far off the road, I imagine. But yes, you can kind of get and you start heading off. Phoenix, can you name me one way in which you will try and aid your escape? Be it running faster, being distracting, be creative. How will Phoenix try and make your getaway better, let's say?
He's gonna keep track in his head how far away we are from the campsite,
Mhm.
and he's gonna wait for the ping from the alarm spell that's still there, and he's gonna use that to kind of gauge how far away this creature is and how fast it's closing.
Sure. Okay. Roll me general intelligence. Yeah. So, kind of when you see the ping, and you'll be about 3 minutes gone from the camp, probably just back on the road, and kind of guesstimating from where best approximations as to how where your companions thought how far it might away have been. Your guesstimation is it is moving probably slightly slower than a horse at full pace.
I would urge everyone to
I'd say if
ride
if,
hard.
if on a scale of 1 to 10, a galloping horse is a 6. This thing seems to be moving about a 5. Cool. Yareth, what are you doing to aid in your escape?
Fuck. I mean, based on what I know of that creature, I don't know what exactly I can do other than make myself go faster, which sucks.
I mean, yeah, you could.
Sorry, I got caught up. Are we running? We've abandoned the carts.
Yes,
Yes.
you've abandoned the carts. You are taking horses, and you're just galloping to Ratherford, which is at this point about 5 hours journey away. If you're galloping, it'll probably be close to 3, maybe just out 3. But that'd be quite tiring.
Cool.
I mean, you could try and make your horse and possibly the others go faster.
I
understanding that
guess probably just faster.
If you could try and describe it to a particular skill, I guess.
Oh, so I love the organ sting in this music.
Yeah.
I mean,
Perhaps started a tad early, but whatever.
I think
come
the
back
only
to
thing,
if you'd like.
I think the only thing that Yareth could do is try and focus on any knowledge he has of invisible stalkers and give advice as to, like, oh, if we try and master our sounds with this, then it might work, or something like that.
Roll whatever you rolled before, be it history or arcana.
10! Yeah, it's very useful right now.
Unfortunately, the tales you have heard just describe it as kind of implacable, kind of undeterrable, kind of in the panic. You can't think of anything. You're kind of just too scared. That would be a failure. Who's next? Fleet, what are you going to try and do to aid in your escape?
Am I going to do? It's invisible, so I can't see it. I think I am going to be at the head of the group, and I'm going to guide the group as best as I can to the road, so we can get there in the shortest time possible.
Sure. Survival, then. We'll go with that.
Does it help that I have an excellent memory for maps and geography?
I mean, like, it's part of where you're going with this.
Yeah. So. That's not great!
I mean, it's
I
dark,
am dealing with a small child.
Yeah, you've got hope, like your gallop. You've kind of got to try and like keep one hand on the reins, one hand kind of keeping her because there's no seatbelts on horses. She's clearly not a good rider. She's clearly never been on a horse before in her life. This area is kind of unfamiliar, even though you kind of have this better than other people. This area is still incredibly alien. Unfortunately, you're trying to lead, but with the child on your lap, you eventually find yourself falling to the very back of the pack with that natural one. Althea,
Cool.
What are you doing to try and help?
So, this is really stupid, but I think it might work. I think to try and like just make sure that so she'd be focusing on Fleet and her horse because that's the one with hope on.
Yeah.
I have one use of my bardic inspiration left. I would
Sure.
like to give it to Fleet's horse.
Okay, how are you inspiring a horse?
I think as she's like riding, because Althea has more experience on horseback than I imagine most of the party. I imagine she just sort of, after a while, sort of getting a steady pace going, she just turns around and sort of almost like looks Fleet's horse in the eye. And it's like, you have to keep them safe and you have to run quickly. I don't know if you understand a single word I'm saying. By Asme, you have to move.
Sure. Expand that slot. If you expand the Bardic Inspiration, we'll say call that a spellcasting ability check. So if you, that's always your charisma plus proficiency. Because you're spending Bardic Inspiration, we'll give you advantage.
Nicely.
Yes. So
I'm-
it would be a charisma check.
Yeah.
With proficiency.
I'm just going to roll a charisma save because that's got my
Sure.
proficiency
Yeah.
and all that.
Sleipnir is inspired.
Yeah. So you obviously you have this close familiarity with horses than you generally do, than other people generally do, and you kind of look at this horse. It's kind of panicked. It's tired, like because it's been disturbed. Now it's just heading into a gallop. As you kind of whisper these words to it, its kind of eye kind of joins yours, and you kind of get a sense that there is some sort of understanding there, and you kind of convince it of the importance to kind of dig into kind of its deepest reserves, and you're convinced that you've kind of been able to spur it on to keep going, despite the fact it's carrying two people, even though they're not the heaviest people in the world, it's still two people. So you basically secured the fact that even though Fleet may be at the back because he's having difficulty driving, you've ensured that it won't kind of fall behind necessarily. It's still keeping up. You reckon you did a good job there. And finally, that leaves Urashi. What are you going to try and do?
Oh god. Irashi is, I guess, gonna try and draw attention to her away from the others. She'll ride. She's still heading in broadly the same direction, but I guess
So you're going
slightly
off
further out. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So the current area you're in is kind of forested, and not good for galloping a horse through. As in, there's a high likelihood the horse will trip and break a leg.
I've got nothing to do then. If there's no other way I can distract them, I guess I'm just going quick.
I mean, you could try and use animal handling, athletics, you could try and.
I don't see I can animal handle a horse into not dying.
Well, it's just anything you can think that might aid in you getting away. Like you could conceal your tracks, anything along those lines.
Would anything in mine or Yareth's Arcana checks tell us how invisible stalkers track their prey?
I think we might come back to that because obviously you don't have time to sit and think at this moment.
Right.
God, I don't know. Athletics, fine.
Even if you
Something
want
I
to-
don't know.
Even if you just pick a skill, like if you just want to say, athletics will spurn everyone faster, it doesn't have to be anything
Sure,
particularly
that
complicated.
then.
Sure, roll athletics then.
Oh, fucking hell, Ashy.
Hey,
God, we're doing terribly, huh?
well, you have 2 successes and 3 failures. So, Irashi, you're kind of you're used to walking, so you try and use your natural skill to kind of stay in the saddle, kind of help your horse pace it, because obviously you realize you've probably got to run for an extended period. You do a decent job, but you don't feel you do enough to kind of add on much more than a horse would kind of work out itself anyway. So with all these things you're doing, as time kind of gradually moves on, the kind of night starts to fade. You do hear kind of as dawn is just like the first sunbeams are just starting to pierce through the kind of clouds above. You definitely hear the kind of sounds of like broken twigs, snapping branches, kind of getting closer. Because obviously, as the path you're taking is kind of winding, you've got corners. Kind of as you listen, you kind of ascertain this thing seems to be like cutting corners off the path, kind of going through kind of points quite dense tree growth, which is kind of impressive unless it's incredibly small. It does kind of unsettle you almost. However, it is getting very, very close to kind of you're approximately kind of half an hour's journey away from Ratherford, where Hope, you think, told you you'd be safe, it wouldn't follow you there. Yareth and Athair. When you Fleet being at the back of the group, you kind of look back at one point and kind of you see a branch on the kind of that you yourself ducked under. You see it get pushed aside and snap back into pace. This is approximately 200 foot behind you. It's whatever you've tried to do to escape. It seems to have caught up to you, unfortunately, as this kind of urge kind of overtakes you, Fleet. You notice a figure ahead of you. You kind of turn ahead. There seems to be a person. Your best approximation would be human male. They're dressed just in traveling clothes, and they kind of call out to you. Come, quick! I'll do my best to hold it off. He kind of waves you all on up ahead of you.
As we ride by, Phoenix would toss him the bag of ashes.
Sure. He's very much not prepared for this, so you'll probably just whack him, kind of just bounce off his shoulder, and he'll look very confused. But you're far too gone at this point because you're probably driving your horses quite fast. Can I have a good perception check, please? So 2 dice, I want to distribute them.
I can roll one.
Not.
I mean, I just rolled a 1. What are the odds I do it again, right?
Exactly.
I mean, 1 in 20.
Same as you rolling anything else.
Yeah, sure. What else will?
Yeah.
Roll perception.
See, there we go. Much better.
Yeah. So as you kind of turn a bend, Fleet and Phoenix, you kind of look behind you towards this figure. See you all gone past, presumably reasonably safely. You notice them step out into the middle of the path, and you kind of watch them as they seem to hold up what can only be described as a wand. It's kind of long stick. You kind of turn the corner. They appear to have, they disappear from your sight. However, you hear some kind of very loud kind of chanting, probably incantation, you probably guess, and you hear a flash of a light, and there is a kind of groaning, cracking noise, and you kind of feel this kind of wave of force kind of wash over you. You kind of knocked your hairs back. You kind of, it's not so much it might knock you over, but you kind of, it's like a strong gust of wind almost. So it's just kind of more of a pulse that seems to be emanating approximately from where the figure was. You're not entirely sure what they did, but it definitely did something.
Was the
Certainly something.
incantation in a language we recognized?
It's just kind of generic magic word. It's not any specific language, so like abracadabra, oogly doogly.
I was going to say, was it bibbidi bobbidi boom?
I mean, if you'd like that to be your headcanon, sure. you kind of hear yourselves kind of traveling on. It is probably about 21 minutes before you see the gates of town ahead of you. As I say, it's just dawn. You kind of see what appears to be a reasonably bemused town guard. Not bemused, drowsy town guard. He just seems to be very lazily, like slowly opening them, kind of as one does at the beginning of the day. He doesn't seem to have spotted you yet.
Let us in, let us in, let us in, let us in!
Sure. However, Fleet, as you look behind you, you see there's this tree trunk that's kind of across the road that you all jumped over. It kind of splits and you all hear a loud crack as some kind of unknown force has clearly cracked it under its weight. As this kind of overtakes you once more, you kind of look ahead. The distance between you and the town is closing. It's about 400 feet, 300 feet. As at this point, the guard is clearly noticing, is like, there's people galloping into town. He seems unsure whether, is this some, a weird raid? He seems decidedly bemused. Is anyone going to call out to him?
We're not holding weapons, just let us in!
Roll persuasion.
Oh, this'll go well. Well,
It seems enough. He seems too drowsy to kind of take anything not at face value, and he'll kind of just hurry up at his task and kind of fling the gates open. You kind of all clatter in, kind of across the threshold, and you'll kind of bring up your horses, because according to your information, you should now be safe. As you kind of look back, you see there's a small span of grass, kind of in between the town and where the wood starts. You notice it getting kind of displaced, as clearly something's on it, but kind of as you cross the threshold to the town, this kind of disturbance, displacement in the grass kind of very quickly slows, and it'll kind of stop kind of roughly 100 foot away from the gate, before kind of dissipating, and kind of the depressed grass will kind of raise back up. There seems to be no longer any chase of anything nasty and invisible stalking you.
okay. We're safe. Question time. I hope cover your ears. What the fuck?
Yeah, sorry. More pressing concern. We're totally okay with just letting that guy die.
No, the guard's fine.
No. The guy who.
The guy who slowed down the man.
The other guy. The guy who had to step in because
we're terrible.
You failed the skill challenge. Yeah.
Not okay with it? Still processing that. Give me some time. I'll get to it. More importantly, what the hell was that thing? Why did Hope have glowing eyes? Who was talking through Hope? And what the hell was that thing?
More importantly, are we safe from it now?
An invisible stalker. No idea. Why the fuck would I know? An invisible stalker, probably.
So it's about 6:30 in the morning. You just clattered into town quite loudly. The shutters of a nearby house will slam open, and a fellow in his undergarments will shout at you for
Get off my lawn!
disturbing their slumber.
Gareth will just stick a middle finger up at them and just tell him to shut up himself, and we'll be on our way in a moment.
Sorry.
He'll send a couple of choice curse words after you before slamming the shutters shut again.
Okay, perhaps let's find somewhere to stay, before we start just talking about whatever the hell that thing was in the middle of town, eh? Maybe an inn with a nice private room, just something, anything. I want to sit down.
Yes, because we're really going to get that at 6 o'clock in the morning, chap.
Excuse me, sirs. You kind of look down. It appears to be a young boy, possibly 11 or 12 in age. Are you Althea? He kind of looks up at Flea as he says this.
Oh,
Althea, not Althea.
I was about to say, no, Althea's back there.
Oh. He'll kind of nod his head and walk towards Althea.
Yeah, no. Our kid quota's full up for today. Thanks.
Are you Althea?
Yes.
I was told to
That's
tell
me.
you when you arrived that you would travel to this address. You kind of present you with a piece of paper. You to let yourselves in, help yourself food, beds, whatever. And a friend will see you soon.
Okay, this is highly peculiar. Do I have to give... Do you want anything in return? Is this a... Would you like some... I don't know, I've got some food.
His eyes visibly widen at the prospect of getting something in return.
I'll hand him like a couple of my rations and maybe like a handful of copper coins.
Define a handful.
To be honest, it's probably closer to 2 silver.
Oh, yeah. You give him almost 20 little copper coins, his eyes will widen and he'll kind of just, like, he's not going to ask you if you're ready to give him that amount. He will just grasp it and yeet himself away. Like, he's clearly incredibly happy with that deal. Much like children do, he clearly reckons he's in the money now, despite the fact it's not that much, really.
Just sort of as he's going off, being like, "As may be with you."
So
Right. So we've got an address to head to, I guess.
I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I'm still tired. Not that I'm
Yeah.
gonna be the first one to fall asleep or anything, but I could use a little bit more rest.
But you would always thirst to do stuff, Fleet.
Nope, this
Can
is a
I
competition. I had to
look
be
at
the
this
last
paper?
because I had to stay at the longest.
Yeah. Can I look at this paper, please?
Sure. It just appears to be an address. It's kind of like, it's like 4 square. Number 4 town square is probably where it reads. It's not particularly imaginative address.
Okay. Right.
And for reference, where are we right now?
You're in Ratherford.
Yeah.
It was where you're always intending to be going on your way to Gasmic.
I suppose we better start looking for this number 4. Town Square. How's everyone holding up?
Holding up.
Get by.
Hope, how are you feeling?
I don't know. That was weird.
Weird is certainly a good word for it. Have you
Do
ever...
you
I'm sorry.
always...
Fleet, I'm sorry. You were the one that just said to hold on and be in a better position before talking about it in front of everyone. And now you think it's the right time to start questioning the child about everything.
I'm just asking her how she feels. Hush! See, this is what I'm talking about with being a good parent thing.
Do you always...
I'm not a
go
good
behind-
parent. We established this.
Yeah,
That's not the voice at all.
It's 6 o'clock in the morning. Please.
Yeah, I'm getting off this horse now.
You were saying, Hope?
The horse is decidedly relieved. You've pushed them quite hard for several hours.
Oh, I will also probably like give Kyriakos some food or something.
Sleipnir gets an extra ration for being so
Yeah,
good when I was so
well done.
terrible.
I'll awkwardly pat mine on the neck and go, "Good horse 3."
Oh,
So
you were
you-
gonna ask something? Was she? I thought I heard you starting a
Apparently not.
question.
Oh,
Hope.
you're talking
Yeah,
about Hope
Hope.
again.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Do you always go for runs in the middle of the night?
No, that was not normal for us. Something strange happened, and we're going to talk about it once we get inside and more comfortable.
Okay.
I think after that's been said, Althea will just sort of start pretty aimlessly wandering around Ratherford looking for this 4-town square.
Well,
Yareth,
Town Square is relatively easy to find. You
Yeah,
kind of
well,
just keep going
accompany.
straight on the street you're on.
How
You could
big
ask
is the
anyone.
town?
Probably even the guard will let you in. He'll give you a few weird looks, but you seem to be no threat. So he'll kind of just keep you going. So you just carry on the street for a little bit, and you eventually kind of come across the main town square. There's a largest building. That is presumably where the mayor lives. There's several kind of market stalls that are yet to be set up. Presumably they will be later on when the market actually opens during the day. And there's a few buildings around it. Number 4 appears to be a small little house dwelling thing. You kind of as you approach, you hear the door click open, unlocked rather, and the door will kind of swing wide open for you.
How big does the town? Are we in a town now as opposed to a
It's in a
town?
town to opposed to a village. It's a medium-sized town. Say a few thousand people living
Did
here.
the door open on its own, or is there a person
Yes.
stood in the doorway?
The door appears to have opened its own. You don't see anyone standing in the doorway.
Peculiar, but we
That's a
were
neat
told
trick.
to come here. I think Althea will step through the threshold.
Sure. It's a nice enough, but kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Fairly bare. It doesn't seem overly furnished.
Are we
dwelling.
forgetting something? Pointing back to the horses.
There appears to be a small little stable to the side where you could put horses in. It's not locked.
I'll see to them. The house seems safe enough. I'm sure we can all find places to sleep.
Just somewhere. I'll take the floor if need be. Just, I need to lie down.
Is there a fireplace?
Yeah.
Yeah, Fenix will walk over to that, pick out some of the ashes, and rework his alarm spell. This time focused on doors and windows in here.
Cool.
I think Althea will probably set up. Where did my voice go there? Set the horses up for the, I suppose, morning now.
Yeah.
And then promptly try and find a bed to fall into.
Yeah, there's a handful of beds. There might be like sofa equivalent. There's enough places. You won't all be sleeping in beds, but there's enough places to sleep. As you kind of look around, it seems clean, neat, but incredibly generic. Like to draw a parallel, you kind of know how in film and stuff, safe houses are kind of nice but incredibly bare, and there might be like generic art number 5 on the wall. It's kind of that, but medieval. You get that kind of vibe from it. It doesn't seem like someone's home, if that makes sense. As you all kind of settle in for the morning, I guess, to catch up on the sleep you missed, we should call that a break there. We will have a quick biology break, and we will return at 10 o'clock, pretty much exactly. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you are enjoying. Yeah. See you in a
Be
minute.
right back.
Bye. Hello and welcome back to Rolling With It, and our Gaecia campaign. Oh, I'm hearing myself again.
Matt.
Yeah. Anyway, what was I saying? Yes. So, before the break, our party had a eventful night where they were chased by something invisible and quite nasty. and eventually found themselves in the town of Ratherford, where a small urchin boy told them that a friend was providing lodgings for them, and they would meet them later. So far, they decided to take this unnamed friend at face value, and they have kind of gone to this bloke's house, although it doesn't really seem like a home. It's due to the decor. They've kind of set up for the evening, morning rather, to recuperate whatever rest they may have lost. As it kind of turns around to kind of midday, possibly a bit after, so kind of 1, 2 in the afternoon, you've kind of recovered whatever rest you missed out on, and you'll kind of start stirring again, possibly looking for food, all that jazz.
Ugh. Alright. We're rested up. We're okay. Do we want to talk about anything that happened last night, or are we just gonna gloss that over?
You've also had your long rest, by the way.
Get our long rest, thank goodness. We kind of need it.
Phoenix would like to walk out to Yarth and very quickly confer about what we both know about invisible stalkers, see if there's any gaps in each other's knowledge we can fill in.
You don't have a whole lot more than what you originally got. It's just some kind of spirit taken from another place, changed to a master, and then when they're given a target, particularly a person or object, they kind of follow it relentlessly.
So, do we have an inclination if this tracking is magical or mundane?
The stories don't really go into detail. As I say, these are myths, not like educational texts. So, in terms of the mechanics of any situation, you don't really know details about exactly how powerful or whether they are literally undeterrable, might be just blown up. So there's probably a lot that the story contains that probably isn't true, and there's a lot more detail about exactly how they work.
We know for a fact they're deterrable. They didn't enter the town. So there's something keeping that thing at bay. Whether it's just people or something more specifically about populated area or this town, don't really know.
For the time of day, even, we have no idea. We've got actually nothing.
Well, it's about 1:30 in the afternoon. Engaged out from the sun.
And then he turned to Altair and go, well, you were the first one to mention it. What do you know about this thing? No, I heard the kid say this, didn't I?
Yeah, but this was the kid with the golden eyes, so...
Yeah. It wasn't golden, it's yellow.
Yellow eyes, sorry.
I'm golden eyes.
Yes.
That's my thing. I'm
gold.
special.
You have gold. The kid is yellow.
And Phoenix is amber. Trifecta.
So, Hope, do you remember waking up last night?
I mean, I went to sleep, and then I was sitting up, and then you put me back to bed, and then I was standing up, and then you were putting me on the horse.
So this happened before as well. Oh, good lord.
Yes, we did mention she got up and spoke to Altair and I.
No, I don't think you did.
That wasn't mentioned before.
I thought it was mentioned in the Hullabo.
Must have gotten passed
Not
over.
exactly a good time for expositing when we're running.
Well, now we have a second to talk about it. I don't know how to ask this.
The child clearly doesn't know anything.
Yeah, I don't know what we can
The child
solve
is
here.
sitting right in front of you. Call her by her name.
And
Be
I was
nice.
going to say, she also has a name.
Yes, but we
So
don't...
does his horse.
No,
Horse
no,
3.
no offense. The entity that spoke to us both times was not the child.
Was not
Sorry,
Hope.
was not Hope.
Hope
Thank
is
you.
decidedly
Alright.
confused by this exchange.
Fleet,
I mean-
I'm going to warn you now, chap. If you keep snapping at me, angry man that you saw at 6 o'clock this morning, far more often.
I am trying to get you to do better. I believe in you. I know you have the capacity to do it.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for that, but I'm not going to
Again,
get better by being at my neck every time I mess up.
Okay. How will I?
As Fleet says that, Althea again will give sort of that look to Yareth of like, see, you can get better.
All right.
Yeah, I don't even know
Gareth.
why we're quibbling. The kid's clearly weird, but we're all weird. That's nothing new. And
Can we stop calling her the kid, please?
the kid's the kid.
Arashi will volunteer to take Hope aside to a different room.
Thank you. Okay, we don't know what the hell is going on with Hope. Maybe that thing was the Vanakama, and Hope is just a vessel for it?
No, that was an invisible stalker.
Well, no, not
No,
the
the-
invisible stalker,
the
but
voice,
the yellow,
chap.
the yellow
Oh,
eyes
oh.
thing. Maybe that's the Vanakama.
I mean,
And Hope
either
is just
way,
a
it's in the
host.
kid. It makes no difference.
In my religious teachings, what little I would have gotten, have I heard at all of gods or deities or celestial beings hosting in mortal bodies?
Gods? I mean, they could theoretically, it's probably not out of their power to like talk through a person, but they generally don't. If nothing else, because it's kind of rude and a bit weird.
A bit.
In terms of like other beings, like, I mean, obviously you can have demons and devils and malign spirits that can possess people. Obviously, people believe that certain madnesses, are people being possessed by spirits. So there's definitely a scope for it. In terms of what exactly you can narrow it down to, is not a particularly distinct field.
Doesn't matter. It was clearly benign. Helped us get away from that thing.
I'm not saying the Vanakama is good or bad. I'm just saying it's.
I am. I'm saying it's good. I mean, we wouldn't have been slaughtered in our sleep. I would have at least known something was there, but I've never fought anything invisible before. I don't think we'd put up much of a good fight.
Not particularly, no.
So yeah,
If
I'm
I-
pretty grateful that this thing woke us up, warned us, made us aware of the threat, and then apparently sent someone to help us when we fucked up.
It
If
it also knew my name.
Yeah, that part was also a bit strange.
I mean, honestly, that's probably the least strange thing of all of this.
We I can't remember if we've shared this yet, but we also know where we have to take Hope.
We do?
No, that
I
is
was
new information.
just about to ask where was it, because
Well,
I
yeah,
remember
we're taking her to my
Either
folks.
way,
saying, but
Fleet,
no.
we've got to go to the capital, I believe.
you'd probably be heading through there anyway. Like, it's just the main road if I take you back to the map.
Hmm.
So, let me move you actually. So you're kind of here now. So obviously you'd be heading up to Lantern, and then naturally you'd probably be on the way, go through Aethray on the way to Kesman.
Well, if it's that
So
close
you
by,
could
maybe we
change
don't have to
things.
take her home?
I can't help but feel that we might have to get her there, and then perhaps even further. Whatever power spoke to me through the child, it seemed. Well, it seemed as though it had more plans than just getting Hope to Aethray.
I think I'm more concerned with, kind of point at the map. This big old gap right here. Kind of point at the space between Aethway and Lantern, where we're not in a town. The only thing that's apparently between us and that thing. So I
Well,
say,
there's gonna
we
be
make the
smaller
the
places
best
on the road.
being in a town. We figure out how to either get rid of this thing or kill it, and then we go from there. While we have these walls.
It doesn't seem to lack the walls, but I don't know how long that'll last for.
So we make the best use of our time. I'd say start with figuring out whoever this mysterious benefactor is who's putting us up for the night. Or afternoon.
As you say the words mysterious benefactor, much like last night, you will hear the lock to the front door will click and the door will swing open. Walking through the door will be a figure who none of you got a particularly good look last night, but your best guess is this is the same figure who helped you out.
Oh, good, you're not dead.
It's you!
That's a different question answer.
They're about 5'9". They got kind of short-ish brown hair. It's kind of slightly distressed. They appear to be wearing the same kind of inconspicuous kind of commoners' traveling clothes. They've got a little bit of 5 o'clock shadow. They've got kind of these classic piercing blue eyes. Althea, as they walk in, you will notice that what am I saying?
Something that we noticed.
Yeah, apparently I'll notice something.
Yes. The words completely evaded me.
Azamor?
Yeah, they're an Azamor. I forget the bit. Tattoo. That's the word. So while the rest of them, they seem to be completely uninked, Althea, you will notice kind of across his forehead there is what it looks like thorns, almost as if suggesting a kind of crown of thorns or ring of thorns kind of around his head. It's kind of it seems to be in classic black tattoo ink, but it kind of glimmers faintly around the edges with this kind of slight golden glow. And you kind of why you didn't get it perhaps early night, perhaps probably because you were tired, you were moved fast immediately, it was dark. As he enters the room, you twig Isma.
I think there's like a visible sort of tension, not tension perhaps, but like there's definitely a sort of sense of like relief from Althea.
Well met one and all. Greetings to all of you friends, and of course to you, sister. He seems to be addressing Althea. Althea, you would be aware, like it's typical for Asmar to address each other as brother and sister. You've probably met a few. While most Asmar aren't literally brother and sister, Asmar does have a few Zeus-like moments, let's put it. And so there are a few Asmar who are literally, half brother and sister. So it's kind of just a general term of endearment, kind of a recognition of your kind of shared place in this earth.
Aesme can't keep it in his pants.
He's not quite Zeus, but he does have occasional moments.
And you, brother?
I just checked DM sorry.
Pardon?
I was just going to ask. This may just be similar NPC voice, but is this voice the same as the voice that came from Hope?
No.
Okay.
This guy's meant to have a Welsh accent, whereas Hope was meant to have or the voice that came from Hope was meant to have an American accent.
Okay, cool.
So this kind of Welsh accent is typical of the southern part of Akaran, which is obviously where you are. Whereas up where Althea is in the northern part, they speak like her.
The south.
Okay.
Well, I'm sure you will have a large number of questions for me.
You could say that.
I have just as many for you. Does anyone like tea?
Tea sounds lovely.
I can't stand the stuff. If you got coffee?
I might have some in the back. This isn't my house, but I'll have a look. Kind of potter into the kitchen. He'll start busying himself, kind of gathering various ingredients. Kind of set up a couple of kettles over fires to start making tea and coffee. he'll kind of busy about, and kind of once you've all got something, he might get you all a bite to eat as well. He'll definitely get himself something. He seemed, and he kind of tucks into it, kind of quite ravenously. And kind of once all this is done, he'll kind of sit back in his chair, kind of sipping his tea, kind of look out at you all.
So I think introductions may be in order.
Oh yes, of course. Well are my manners. My name is Abel of Faith. I put that in chat. Actually, pleasure. I've completely lost the Welsh.
You just slap your face to bring the Welsh back in.
Of course. Well, it's a pleasure to meet all of you. How might I call you all?
I'm fleet of foot.
You kind of nod.
Yara Sebastian Lieb von Nuttelstamp. Although Yara's fine, chap.
Phoenix.
And I'm Althea.
Well,
There's
it's a pleasure
also Ashley and Hope in the back.
Well, actually, in hope. I'll have to dip in on them later. So, this child, I have been led to believe that she is somewhat important. What do you know?
Just at the word child, Phoenix will kind of look across at the group with a kind of told you so.
Well, Hope is something. We're not entirely sure what, but it's something. She seems to have another thing that can speak through her.
Are you suggesting that she is possessed?
I don't know, that's the only thing I've heard of. But it was a different color of eyes and a different voice. And it warned us about that invisible fucker coming to try and gank us.
Are you saying that she was possessed temporarily?
If I may, if it is a possession, it's a temporary possession, and one that is good. It didn't seem to do us any ill will. In fact, it wanted to help. So, no need for an exorcism or anything weird like that.
Well, this is incredibly curious.
Well, I mean, don't get hasty. I mean, benign possession or not, we don't know what it's doing to the kid. Like, exorcism might be exactly what's in order.
And I'm afraid I am just as much in the dark as all of you. However, I hope together we might be able to shed some light, if not immediately, perhaps in the long term.
There was something else. Not anything dramatic, but she could see my eyes as you probably can, rather than the others, which isn't typical of Tabaxi. Not that I've met many.
You mean she recognized you as a human, mate?
Yes.
That is somewhat curious. I can't say that I am aware of anyone who can identify Aisma without some sort of detection magic. And has this child displayed any other magical properties that you can think of?
Well, I think before we answer any more questions, I think there's a pretty important one lingering here. If this benign spirit didn't send you to help us, who did?
Of course.
People don't just appear out of nowhere on the road helping you against an invisible stalker.
You'll kind of reach under your shirt and you'll kind of pull out this kind of amulet. It is quite similar to the one that Althea has herself, however it seems a bit more upmarket, let's say. It's kind of made out of a fairly nice looking silver. There's a couple of kind of small little gems kind of placed into it, kind of in tactful positions. Well, let's just say I am part of the church who is more proactive. We seek to aid the country and I guess the humanity as a whole through non-conventional means. As I'm sure you are aware of the rumors of the god himself, he wanders around when he sees a particular wrong that might not be covered by any law, or it might be out of the nearby lord's purview to aid. He can aid. We offer a similar service, however, in a more protectionary kind of method.
See, this is a kind of activism that I can get behind.
Really? I mean,
Absolutely.
sounds like to me if the laws aren't working, you fix the laws. You don't just wander around fixing individual problems.
Fixing laws takes time. That doesn't mean the individual problems don't get solved, but discussion
He's a
for another
god.
time.
Alas, fixing law is not as easy. If there are cases when if you were to change law to encompass one circumstance, you would be also permitting far more worse atrocities to happen. Law is not clean cut. It is a very murky, difficult area. If you take one thing away from our conversation, it is I recommend you never, ever get into politics.
Yeah, I don't think we're in any danger of that.
But this is off topic.
As for
Might
what
be a
I
bit
was
close
doing
on
on
my
the
part.
road, I don't know why I was heading there. All I knew is that I should. Early in the late last night, or perhaps it was early morning, I was compelled to leave my bed, sat on my horse, and lied out. I didn't realize what was chasing you until it was, until you'd passed and it was upon me. I was not entirely sure what it is, but it has some nasty little spirit inside it that is forced to dwell on our world. Unfortunately, I was not able to permanently break its connection, but I was able to remove it from your immediate vicinity for long enough for you to reach safety.
Which is mighty appreciated, mind you.
Well, I hope it was. I don't suppose you have any more details about exactly what it was. I personally couldn't see it. I only knew where it was because he kind of wiggled his hand in a kind of magic kind of way.
Well,
I did try and give you a bag of ashes.
Funny thing, it's called an invisible stalker, given the fact that it's invisible.
And
And
it's
stalks us.
Dogs. Yes, well, that's some
Stalks.
creative naming.
a corporeal vessel of energy forced into a humanoid form that can hunt a specific target across, anywhere. That's about all I've heard of it, but
Well,
dangerous.
I can't say I'm familiar outside of vague myths, but I can definitely look into it or get someone else to look into it.
No, don't worry, I intend to.
Summoning a spirit that powerful from another place and permanently binding it here is significant magics.
Yeah, by our count, that makes about 3 strange, powerful entities that are all involved with this kid. Which
3.
I don't know whether to be excited or fucking terrified.
Hang on.
3.
What's
We
your
got
count?
benign spirit number 1 in the kid.
Yeah.
We got strange spirits sending crap after the kid. And then we got whatever brought you here.
Oh.
And if I may add, chap, what the kid is clearly linked to whatever we saw yesterday.
If by whatever brought me
On the
here
roadside.
you mean my god, who made myself, all the people in this town.
Yeah, like I said, big supernatural entity.
Sure.
I just
I was
sort of
worried for a minute you might be
stab.
calling my lord a malign spirit.
I didn't say malign. I said supernatural. You saying he's not?
In a way, more natural, I guess.
I think we are getting rather into philosophy, which is, again, not my purview.
Absolutely. Do you have... Well, there are more questions I have about, one, this place, this particular housing, and two, what brought you to us, but I think they can be held off for later. Do we have any sort of plan as to what we're gonna do? Because we can't stay here forever.
No, we have to get Hope to Aethway.
Aethway, well, that would seem logical if Esme is involved.
I don't know. Abriel, how long have you been in Rathaway? Ratherford.
Ratherford. I've been posted here for a few months. We try to rotate around, so we always coming to places with fresh eyes. This is just a small dwelling that the church owns here for people such as myself.
Any libraries, bookstores, something we can actually learn about this creature that might help us? Local wizard?
It is a focal point for all of the nearby villages to bring their goods to trade. I'm sure you can hear the market outside. Indeed you can, it's quite bustling. All the farmed goods in the region kind of converge here before heading up the caravan route. Not caravan route, the spine, sorry, which is the main road, goes north-south in Akron, obviously to the rest of Gaecia. In terms of books, there might be the occasional bookstore, but this is not the most learned region of the world. There's not much below us beyond the southern waste, so there's not much to know, to put it one way. You might find the occasional book, but no great informative text.
I know we're nearby a lantern. Is there a possibility of something there?
A lantern, yes. There's probably a few libraries, the occasional wizard.
But it would require us outrunning this invisible thing for however long it takes us to get there, which may not be possible.
So you are suggesting that the creature is somehow drawn to the child?
Absolutely.
We've got no better explanation.
He kind of paused for a moment and kind of drank the last of his tea. He seems to be thinking about something. I think we might be able to find a solution to that.
You have something?
All ears.
It would not be immediate. It would require a certain level of time. Yes, I think that is the best route. Yes. I can discreetly transport the child and one other to Lantern. And when we are there, we will have access to larger resources of the church. And I believe we might be able to manufacture some token that will keep prying eyes away from her.
What do you mean by discreetly? Because I don't think a couple of smoke and mirrors are going to work against a creature that can potentially track magically.
Okay, follow me. He'll kind of take you down to the basement of the house. You have to go down this little ladder. It's kind of all stone. There's a few kind of long-term supplies here. You kind of look at it. You actually reckon you could bunker down in this house for 2 months without leaving if you didn't mind what you were eating. It seems well stocked for whatever its purpose is. Kind of towards the bottom, there's this little trapdoor. He'll kind of put it up, and you see kind of this. What can we describe it as? An underground tunnel.
Well, that would be discreet, wouldn't it?
I mean, the normal
as a what's the best way to put it? This tunnel it distorts space. You are able to walk along it, And as you walk from A to B, you will not have to physically walk as far as it would be to go above ground, or traditionally, let's say.
Are you saying this tunnel makes you faster?
To an extent, however, it is decidedly expensive, and only for emergency use, which is why I would suggest the child and one other. You can only go to one specific place, which is the temple in Lantern. So I think if we send the child and somebody to accompany her down there, they will arrive in Lantern in a day. Well, I say a day, a handful of hours, maybe 5, while the rest of us travel above ground to the same destination.
As much as
I'm sure your tunnel works entirely as intended with no consequences, and this invisible stalker can't track you through it, even though we have no guarantee that's the case, I'm going to recommend we still send probably the toughest person we've got.
Yeah,
in case
as much as I would
anything
love
goes
to stay
wrong
with
here.
Hope and keep her safe, I don't think I'm the one suited for the job. I think it's probably Ash.
You're suggesting the tall half-orc, I would be inclined to agree. If it comes to running, I believe she can run carrying the child far further than any of the rest of you.
Fleet just looks sort of personally insulted, but just shakes her head a bit. Yeah, I'm sure she can. Yeah.
I think
Honestly, I was
see,
thinking she'd make that a meat shield, but
I
yeah,
think-
running.
I think seeing this, Althea will put a comforting hand on Fleet's shoulder.
Fleet just crosses her arms and does her best to not pout.
Very well. I will have to establish communication with the temple and lantern, so they are ready to receive, otherwise the tunnel will not work. Fortunately, I said it's expensive, but they are the receivers, therefore they have to provide all the expensive components, so
Oh,
we'll
yeah.
just put it on my tab. I will be in contact with them, and hopefully we will be able to get your friend and the child going within the next couple of hours, depending on bureaucracy, of course. You'll kind of shut the trapdoor. I believe that is one problem solved, and I believe when in Lantern, they will have the resources and the skill necessary to provide a permanent non-detection solution.
So we will probably want to leave for Lantern soon then, wouldn't we?
And Lantern is about a day and a bit's journey. Soon is definitely recommended.
Well, we want to
I'm
get our
pretty sure our
horses.
Age, your horses, especially so.
They need some time to rest. We ran them pretty hard.
As I say, it'll take time to establish connection between here and Lantern. It would probably be evening before we could set off realistically. Without the child, I see no great need to travel with much over caution. So I'm not a good traveler. I prefer to travel in the day, so I suggest we spend the night, send the child and the half-orc off, and then leave ourselves in the morning's light.
Strange idea. While you take care of the bureaucracy, whatever you said, do you think maybe we should go back and pick up our carts? I mean, we did sort of just leave them in our haste.
It was 3 hours hard ride, and then I'm guessing it's going to be quite a bit longer to get back with them.
Well, we've got the rest of the day.
I mean, it'd be
I
approximately
can't
5 hours
lie.
to regular travel and approximately 5 hours regular travel back.
The idea had crossed my mind.
I don't want to
Yeah.
just leave
What
those
exactly are
carts
the
behind.
consequences for you not making that delivery?
Well, would Althea know?
I don't think you ever push the boundaries that much. So
Yeah, I think.
I'll let you make a logical guess.
Well, I've never I mean, it wouldn't look good. It's my first trade outside of Kazmir.
I mean, are we talking loss of contract, fines, jail?
Oh, no, not jail. I don't think Titus could do that to me.
Where I come from, breach of contract's pretty serious, so not making any assumptions.
Y'all have a lot of fancy words for just shaking hands.
I think at the very least I'd disappoint him. Though I suppose if I explained, I'd rather not take the risk. I've not yet failed on a trade. I don't want this to be my first, my big break, as it were.
I mean, honestly, I was just going to suggest we explore Ratherford, but I'm happy to go back if I'd look at
the value in it.
Abril and just say, I mean, we're pretty certain this thing's after the kid, so no real risk for us going back out.
If whatever you have told me is correct, I would assume that provided the child stays here, you will all be relatively safe.
We won't have to.
The rest of the day to go out and collect them, but I would definitely suggest that it would provide a certain level of disguise and anonymity on the road. There's quite a lot of carts ahead from Ratherford to London, so
yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
No one would identify us as odd. Well, aside from the 2 ASMR, I suppose.
That brief time we were on the road with the carts, that was the least amount of looks I ever got just traveling.
Yeah, carts travel by all the time. Even I know that.
I tend to stick out, so any kind of anonymity is useful.
My horse is not as tired, and if this is your desire, I'm sure you could, I and a couple of you, if you two in company, could go and fetch your carts if the rest of you want to explore the town, pick up some supplies, anything along those lines.
Well, we would only need 3 to pick up the carts.
And he kind of slaps his forehead as he's clearly suddenly forgotten something. He'll kind of just walk up to the ladder and just leave you in the middle of the conversation for a moment. He seems to be intent on going to get something.
I mean, I know I said I'd be happy to go get the carts, but if you guys just need...
Sorry about that.
Sorry, technical issues. It's just a thing that happens. Hopefully, you're all following on. So we did keep going, not knowing the stream was down. But so we believe Abril had just left to get something, and the party were having a discussion, a few choice words in his absence.
So yeah, I know I was all about going back and picking up the carts and everything, but if we just need the 3 horses and I don't have to get on a horse.
Yeah, we only particularly need
grand.
the 3 people.
It's
So
no one's going to force you, Phoenix.
So you can stick behind. Maybe
someone's got to
stay
behind and explore the town, kind of scope it out. Supplies. Anyone need anything?
See if you can't collect any information.
That I can do.
At this point, Abril will kind of calm it down. He appears to be holding a small little wooden case. Knocked down. I want you to have these, if nothing else, you can help me get back up.
My
broadcast ended again. No, sorry.
My
Twitch chat's waiting for me. Carry on.
My friends here can attest. I'm not really very good at letting anyone go down. So
But in case in case you go down, I think it would be good to have something to get you back up. Because the rest of us may not be as good as what you do.
You have a little habit of fainting, Althea.
Yes.
I don't know what you mean.
May I suggest one each, chaps, including one for I've completely forgotten her name. Ash.
Yavashi.
Yes. Unless, of course, you wanted to keep one for yourself, sir.
Considering I'll just be wandering around the town and you guys are unknown, I'll respectfully decline for now. You guys hold on to these. I'm just wandering around a town. You're actually heading back out with the scary invisible creature of death.
We doubt it will harm you while while you were not with the child.
Oh, I don't doubt, but there's more than invisible stalkers outside that wall. So,
Well, quite. So, what's our plan for the immediate time?
I believe Yareth, Althea, and I are gonna go recover our cart, and Phoenix here is gonna do some exploration in the town, get a sense for the layout.
Very good.
uh,
I'll leave you all to that while I handle my bureaucracy. Good day. You're kind of nip back upstairs. He kind of goes to a back room and he seems to be working.
I'm
So,
sure Yurashi will find some way to occupy herself.
I'm sure she will. Okay. So the three of you going to get the carts. We can cut to the chase. That'll go relatively uneventfully. It'll be quite late in the evening by the time you get back. But you have recovered your goods. You were kind of little off the road, so they don't seem to have been found and pilfered. They seem to be in completely good working order. As for you, Phoenix, is there anything specific you would like to achieve?
Well, he did mention that there might be a couple bookstores or stalls around the town, so I'd probably have to scout at those, see if I can find anything interesting. I don't know if I'd be looking for anything specific. Obviously, if anything about the arcane magical creatures, invisibility, those things catch my eye, but not really expecting to find them on a broader level. I guess I'm still pretty new to Akaran, so books about Akaran history, cultural books, stuff about humans.
Okay.
Walking through Hirana and Waithi, this is still the most interaction I've ever got with humans. That's still a bit of a mystery to me.
Sure. Okay. Roll me investigation.
And I'd be keeping an eye out for, I don't know how to put it, like hints of potential work. No. Probably too soon to be picking up any kind of jobs or quick cash.
Yeah. It's investigation. Cool. Yeah. So, kind of as Abra said, most of what's going on is various farmed goods. There's a lot of business kind of happening in the street, kind of arranging of contracts of transportation of stuff. That seems to be, while it's not most of the actual market stalls, as you kind of walk around, you get the impression that's probably where most of the actual trade is happening. As I say, there are like several stores, mostly in the kind of market square that your house is on. They seem to be selling a range of things from, a chap who's just trying to sell his turnips as high as he possibly can to, people selling all sorts of, trinkets or kind of faux pas cures for various things that Phoenix probably twigs. Most of them probably don't work. It's kind of more a gullibility trap than anything else. There is a small little permanent bookshop. Most of what's in it is either kind of utility, so it's kind of teaching, so blacksmithing 101 or whatever. But there are a few kind of more story books. They're kind of miscellaneous myths. Most of it, you gather, won't be much use information-wise, although if it's into entertainment, they could be entertaining. You can probably pick up a few like things on history or culture kind of thing if that's what you're interested in. It's not massively comprehensive, so you are kind of limited by what they actually have, but you can probably get enough to
If
get a
there's
general
if
idea.
there, if there are no real kind of comprehensive histories, I guess I'd be keeping an eye out for things that specifically deal with Azamar.
So in terms of ASMR, won't be like there won't be anything history related. But a few of the like stories in this might involve them, but as you say, they're probably not overly reliable sources. Let's put it that way. One other thing that does catch your eye in this town, though, there is a kind of it's not actually a market stall. It's kind of a cart or wagon rather. That's kind of it seems deliberately able to convert from kind of a covered wagon into a kind of ghetto market stall. It kind of seems multi-purpose like that, and it seems to be it catches your eye more than the regular trinkets. You kind of magically attuned as you are, you kind of get a faint buzz. You gather that this seems to be some sort of magic item vendor.
I'd walk over and see if I spot any kind of arcane sigils, the kind of things that spellcasters kind of mark themselves with to say like this is me. This is
As in like
obvious
Like
signs of
marks?
someone advertising the fact that they're magical.
I mean, if you walk right up, the guy will be. You can hear the guy. He's trying to sell something to a customer who's currently there, and he's very much pushing it as a magic item. Like it's abundantly clear that this guy is selling magic items. It's not like he happens to be selling magic trinkets. Like he definitely knows they're magic.
Yeah, I'd have a nose.
Sure. Give me 1 second. Let me pull up the table, see what it is. Sorry, my thing is being slow. That's not the table. Yeah, here we go. Okay. So a few things catch your eye. There are boots of false tracks. There's a cloak of billowing. There is a hat of vermin. A moon-touched sword. There's a couple of scrolls that seem to be cantrips. There is a staff of bird calls, and there is a tankard of sobriety.
Bit of an interesting place to set up shop, isn't it? Can't imagine there's much call for magic items out in the sticks like this.
Oh well, you never know. I'm a traveling vendor. I occasionally like to hop down to some of these lower down parts. If nothing else, you can catch something that's good for enchanting. I can trade it off to someone who knows what they're doing far better than I. And there's the occasional kind of wealthy merchant or well-to-do farmer who might purchase the occasional thing. It's just me, so I don't have to worry too much about turning too big of a profit. I like to explore the country, you know?
That's very admirable of you.
Anything in particular catch your eye?
Oh, I'm afraid too rich for my blood.
Oh,
Although I don't suppose,
it's true. I offer very reasonable prices.
yeah, there's reasonable and then there's flat broke, buddy.
Well,
Just having a browse more than anything. But I'd be quite interested in some information. You're clearly something of a procurer of magical artifacts. You from Greek University or further
oh
referral?
no, this chap is human. I am from where is he from? I am from Kandor myself. Born and raised. My family have long dealt in magic items. When I was old enough, I picked up my own cart and started working my way up from the bottom, and this is where I am. And I'm in a comfortable enough position. One day I might like to settle down, but there's time enough for that later on.
Known for their magical learning in Kandor? Or is that just your family?
Magical learning, not particularly. In the cities, there's always a handful of skilled magic users. I believe some of the Council of Lords are wizards. I think one might be some sort of sorcerer.
So out of curiosity, you could probably tell I'm not exactly native around here.
Well, I don't like to point it out.
Where would that be in Akaran?
Hang on. Boop. This is Kandor towards the north.
No. I mean, where would the
Oh, sorry.
magical learning in Akaran be?
Yeah. I mean, if you're after the kind of best center of magical learning, it'd probably be Aethray. There's no like arcane college. They don't really get like formal colleges outside of QU. That's kind of the only formal center for any kind of learning in the world. If you are a human wizard, you would hope to happen upon a wizard, presumably in a big city, because there's generally quite a few there, and then you would apprentice to a specific wizard. So Aethray being the capital is probably got the most wizards just because it's the biggest city. Again, they're Council of High Lords because it's the capital. There's a few quite learned magic users among them, but as I say, there's no specific center of magical learning in Akaran, or indeed anywhere else outside of QU.
Well, like I said, I don't have a lot of coin on me right now, but I don't suppose you trade in services. I'm a bit of a magic user myself. I can make myself useful. I've got some hours before my friends return.
Magical services like we formed in hours. To my knowledge, enchanting takes a smidgen longer than that. So, unless you have any items on you, I'm afraid.
Simple things that can be expedited with magic. I'm quite good at fixing things. I got a lot of ink and parchment if you need correspondence or a notary.
I am quite literate myself, and he kind of gestures towards all the labels on the items. In terms of mending, I believe I'm sorted in that regard as well. I think the only business
I'd lean in a bit closer and say,
to trade.
If you've also got some higher quality inks, I can provide some more illicit notary skills.
He kind of looks taken aback for a moment, not entirely sure what you're implying. Roll insight.
I imagine he looks quite similar to me. What?
I mean, you don't get a whole lot, but the mention of the word illicit, he's clearly taken aback.
Only if you're interested. I'm just spitballing here, figuring out how I find a new town. I figure out how I can be useful.
Unless you have trade, I don't believe we can do business there.
All right. Well, it was lovely to meet you. Your wares are quite fine. From what I can see. Shame I can't afford them. Although, just out of curiosity, what is the lowest? What would one of these go for?
One moment. The cheapest is the Cloak of Billowing, which is 23 gold.
Yeah, I'll be seeing you around, friend. I'll walk off.
Okay. So, as we're getting close to the end of the episode, I believe we'll kind of draw an end to the day's affairs there, unless anything else, any burning business, and you can kind of all gather once more in the kind of safe house almost of the Church of Esme. Kind of with Abra once again, he seems decidedly happy. You assume he's got his bureaucracy dealt with. I see you've got two cards. They will be most useful in allowing easy travel. I trust it was uneventful.
Although
Thankfully.
we did see some very interesting clouds.
He kind of nods, like he's trying to be polite, but like he's a bit okay.
Althea has a good eye for pretty things.
Well, that is a admirable quality.
She gives like a beaming smile, and two short nods of like yes, I do.
Anything interesting here, Phoenix, or just a standard old town fair?
Pretty quiet town. I think we're better off in Lantern.
All right then.
Hey, is there any business we want to do tonight?
I want to catch Yareth before we get anything settled up. Yareth, you have a bit of time? Uh-oh, have I been lost again?
No, you're here.
Oh, it's not me.
Riley, are
this time.
you muted?
Riley?
My apologies. I've said a few things, but it's absolutely fine. Hello. Everything's good with Yareth right now, chap. Yes, of course. Plenty of time for, as you say, family. Yes.
I didn't realize you saw me that way. Thank you. I'm glad to know the feeling's mutual. But anyway.
I'm trying. I'm not entirely sure yet, but it seems to comfort you. What's up?
I understand that me snapping a bit earlier was rude and a bit disrespectful, and I apologize. It's just something I'm passionate about, and I know you have the capacity to do better, and I want to help you get there. So, what can I do? Like, do you want a gentle reminder, or do you want me to be more stern? What's going to help you do your best?
I appreciate that, and also sorry for snapping at you. That
Was completely understandable. I was out of line.
I mean, first you need to stop doing that.
Doing what?
I've noticed a few times you like to take the brunt for things. I just apologized for something that was my fault, and you shoved it off like it was nothing. Stop doing that. That's not going to help me at all.
Oh.
If I'm apologizing for something, I mean it. And so don't shove it off like it was your fault.
Shit, I just think you called out the player too. Fuck.
I know you, boy. I'm you.
Well, it's just something that I've always been doing, so I can do my best to not. Can't promise much success, but I'll try.
Of course. And like... I know when I upset you with the things that I say, just based on the looks that you give me before you even say the words. If you want to continue doing the looks, that's fine, but I would say just let me know when I've stepped out of line a bit too far. I'm trying to be more to downplay everything, I suppose is the best sense of the words, chap. But
Please just
it's
put a
different,
hand on your shoulder.
you know.
I understand. I can see you're putting your best effort forward. And I can also see that you've got something in you, and it's good, I think. And I want to see more of it, honestly. You seem like a great fellow, and I'm happy to have you as a family.
DM?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to whisper you a wisdom saving throw. I know what.
Oh. Oh dear.
Okay. Is this to resist
Cool. I'm fine.
charms or like?
No, this is Therese. This is. I'll message you what it is later.
You're trying to resist her feminine wiles. Like,
No, it is nothing like that. I can assure you. Early story based. Oh yeah, I'll message you about it later, Ferret. Gareth will just put hand on the hand and just. I appreciate you looking out for me, chap. It's just a lot being out in the world. It's very different to what I'm used to, and it's interesting, but not everyone's used to me saying what I think all the time, is what I'm gathering.
I gotta say, I felt the same way at QU, just about the opposite. I'm very used to the traveling, the wide out spaces, the open air, and being inside stuffy buildings all day, running papers back and forth, having to listen to people chatter all day. It was frustrating at first, but after I got a bit of time to get used to it, I found it quite fun. And I hope you do the same for the other way around, if you catch my meaning.
I'd hope so. And I'm glad we met on this side of the chat.
Yeah, for as much as your magic power, I'm not sure you do very well in a bar brawl.
Oh no, I purely meant I'm glad I met you here rather than at QU.
Oh, right, of course. Sorry, when people say other side, usually they mean other side of my hands.
I'm very different here than I was there. It affects you after you've.
Oh, believe me, I've seen it. But just if you need something, let me know. Family looks out for each other.
Of course, and same here. Maybe not every night, but every other night or so, do a check-in both ways.
Sounds fine by me.
hey.
The unlikely duo. Okay.
So, the night will kind of wind down. You all kind of find places to settle. You kind of take the opportunity. You're still a little bit tired from the previous night, and you're able to kind of reset your body clock into a normal sleeping pattern, fortunately.
Just before Irashi and Hope leave, Phoenix would be looking out for a moment where not quite like separated, but
they'll be leaving in the morning.
Yeah, essentially just when he can find a moment where Hope is not isolated but away from the group.
You could definitely find a moment to talk to her. That's
he would walk over a bit awkwardly and just say,
hello.
Kid, as striking as it is, that white patch of fur is pretty noticeable, and while these folks seem to be doing everything.
She showed it to you earlier, or before. She had to pull down her shirt to show you.
Yeah, well, if someone's looking for you and they're checking Tabaxi, that's going to be one of the first things they look for. And while the folks around here seem to be doing everything they can to protect you magically, sometimes the obvious solution's a little easier. And he'd hand over the kind of lump of charcoal he prepared and just keep it in mind. Maybe cover that up for a little while.
Okay. Are you on fire? Are you on fire? So, I completely lost the accent.
He would give a quick look around the room to see if anyone's watching. Is anyone watching?
I imagine this is happening similar times.
Like they're probably discussing stuff. No. You can find a quiet corner.
Yeah, I imagine Althea is like just taking inventory, double taking inventory, like writing notes down and just checking that everything is actually definitely there.
He would very quickly crouch down, say, "Yes, I'm on fire. You want to touch it?"
Her eyes will kind of go wide, and she'll kind of like her paw will kind of reach out and kind of go, "Oh, I shouldn't touch fire. Fire is hot." And she'll kind of slowly inch her hand towards it and realize, "Oh, it's not hot.
Not
and she'll kind of just brush her hands through your hair gently for a little bit.
It's just warm.
Yeah. You're weird.
Yeah, you've joined that club pretty successfully. Keep safe. They stand back up and very awkwardly walk off.
Fair enough. Okay. So as preparations finish being made, you'll all gather once more in kind of the cellar. Abel will kind of distribute to Urashi and Hope what it is kind of some sort of magic bracelet. It's kind of made out of silver, and there's kind of a small gem seemingly adorning it. However, the way it's made suggests pure function. It probably doesn't look that pretty. He will explain that this is part of kind of the process of these tunnels, where they are. And he kind of, when the kind of gem kind of lights up, he will declare that is the signal from Lantern that I'm ready to receive. So he kind of sends Hope and Urashi on their way. Well, I believe that is everything we need to do here. Are we all ready to leave?
I think we've got what we need.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Let's get going so we can start with the horses and everything. Right, follow me. He'll kind of start his way up. You all gather outside the front door and be ready to open it. And he kind of wave his hand. The lock will click and the door will swing open. Outside, there appears to be a group of figures. Approximately 5 men. One of them seems to have a rather nasty-looking dog on a leash, and one of them has a hawk on their arm. As Gabriel kind of looks out upon this scene, he will say, "Oh, pig shit." And that's where we'll end the session.
Ah, motherfuck!
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
oh goody.
Fight, 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 fight!
So that'll be where we'll be kicking out next time. Hope everybody enjoyed the stream. Hopefully see you next time. A few points of note, as I mentioned earlier, last week's VOD and this week's, once I've edited together tech issues, we'll both be going up this Friday, 8 o'clock, UK time. That is as much as a guarantee as I possibly can. Hopefully there won't be any more issues with the VOD, although this one will be in 2 distinct pieces, but I believe my editing skills are more than capable enough of that. Of course, follow our YouTube, follow our Twitter at rolling_with_it for any and all updates. For example, when the YouTube video is uploaded, if you're interested in that, be sure to plug it to your friend and you think might be interested. And finally, the most exciting point, we were meant to be doing this on Twitter, but like the bit in the video in which we discussed it got lost, so I didn't feel comfortable doing it in the week. So sorry to anyone who might have been expecting that, but we are interested in starting a second stream. It might be us playing video games, it might be us chatting. Basically, what we want from you guys is if you have like anything specific you would want to see, let us know. However means possible, by telling one of the players if you know us, again on Twitter, or like the comments on the YouTube VODs, like however, if you want to have any impact, please, you want to hear it. Obviously, again, with anything, we'll always be interested in that. But inspiration. Can you have a quick straw roll in the Twitch for inspiration?
Can do.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, at the end of each session, I like to have a minor little reward for players who kind of do something particularly cool or have a particularly good moment during the session. So every one of the players will vote for someone else or me, the DM, and whoever gets the most votes will get inspiration. because of streaming, I like to let you, the audience, have a quick little decide as well. So, we'll start off with Phoenix. Who you voting for?
I was appreciating Fleet this session.
Cool. Righty.
I think I'm also in the fleet bandwagon, as it were.
Cool. Althea? Or Nat?
Yeah,
rather?
I decided about halfway through the session that I'd be voting for Fleet.
Fair enough. Finally, Britty. Unfortunately, you cannot vote for yourself, so you can't get the full Queen sleep, but
I wouldn't vote for myself anyway. I would never. I'm gonna give it to Yareth for calling me out not only as a character but also as a player. I thought that was great.
yeah. All right. So, Britty gets the player vote. Yeah, I'm going to get the straw poll up. I will quickly send the audience vote. Yeah. Hey. Have you posted that yet? Because I can't see it.
No, not yet.
Okay, cool. We'll just have to vamp for a little moment. Vampington.
Favorite moment from the session?
Ooh, yeah.
Calling out both Britty and Fleet.
Yeah, that's my favorite. That was great.
Fair enough.
Bardically inspiring a horse.
That was pretty good.
Brilliant. Yeah. I was like, how on earth am I meant to flavor this? Like, I think you did it right.
I think mine was Fleet getting no, it was Althea and Yareth getting explicit instructions that something is chasing them, and then hearing something in the woods and going, "I wonder what that is."
Yeah, I probably should have done a better job of making it clear you're meant to run, not fight. And the initial warning you got. I think that's on me, though.
She has 10 intelligence. I don't think that's necessarily out of character.
Yeah, we probably, given just our
Yeah.
health bars and our resources.
I don't have 10 intelligence, though. I do have negative wisdom.
Goddamn right. Negative wisdom is my favorite stat. But the straw poll is now up in the chat. Go and vote if you're sitting in the audience and you're looking for something to do. We need your
I
input.
just wish that
We'll try and be entertaining for the next couple of minutes to allow people time.
the only thing that I wish wasn't wisdom based, purely because I love the stat too much, is perception.
Yeah.
Because I want to drop wisdom on so many of my characters, but also like perception's just so good though.
Perception
Yeah,
is
It's one of
nuts.
those things though,
Play a
like,
war mage.
it's one of the things where, like, if you have someone else in the party who's good at it, sometimes it can be alright if you don't, if like everybody else is good at it.
And it's also funny to have you go on watch and then get a 1 off of rolling a
Hey.
4. And then you get a bandits.
Why you just
I mean, proficiency
Wait,
can
matter.
counter that to an extent, but like you have to wait till later levels when your proficiency bonus is high to actually be good at it. Like,
This is why you just use magic.
I've just done the same symbol twice. Well done there, Riley.
oh yeah. So, yeah. We all liking the map. I'm very proud of it. It took a lot of work.
I love it.
I've only just realised that my spelling of Casimir in my notes has been sorely missing an E.
That's right.
But it is
I
a
might have told you
fantastic map.
to be fair. To be fair, when I told you the name Casmir's city from, I didn't have a map yet. So the city didn't exist
Yeah,
until
no.
you were like, I don't know, Casmir.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
realize we were going that far north. I thought it would just be like the next, like a couple towns over, not the
Yeah.
entire breadth of the country.
Yeah, so
Ah, we've
Casmir
been
is kind of
traveling.
the gateway for trade into Cathania.
which is like
lovely.
explicitly part of Althea's backstory.
Yeah.
What's it now? Because I had the sort of Greco-Roman vibes that we'd sort of come up with backstory stuff. So I'd gone K-A-S-M-I-R, just Casimir.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe it's like colloquial.
I don't know when you said, I don't know why, but when you said K, my immediate thought was Q-U-E. Like Queas? I don't know. My brain is not working today. I'm struggling.
Me hablo español
Muy
muy
bueno.
malo.
Okay.
Tortilla.
I think-
Burrito.
I am from Barcelona.
We've got 3 votes
Yeah.
in at the moment from the looks of
I
it.
think that's enough. We've left it a couple of minutes, and that's probably all we're going to get. But yes, thank you very
That's
much for
fair.
voting. We have a clear winner in Yareth. So, Yareth, you have inspiration.
He doesn't deserve this much love, you guys.
He does. He's fantastic.
He's a good.
That's 2 inspirations. We'd now up to 3, didn't you say, Britty? Not
Hey.
Britty. Like,
I'm
Farrell.
not the DM.
Hello.
Have a mixed match.
I now nominate Britty as DM, apparently.
Oh,
I
no.
don't.
I mean, we could have a mini series where Britty's the DM. That could be our other stream. Yes. All right, cool. Thanks to everyone who came to watch. We very much appreciate it. Any support we love. Thank you all very much. You're
We
all
appreciate all of you who come in
amazing.
to tune in for the stream.
Yeah.
Hell
Um,
yeah.
Yeah.
And all of you that are watching on the VOD.
Of course.
Yes, give the love to the YouTube people, but try and tune into the stream if you can.
Yes. I mean, like, if you can, I mean, VOD is just as good. Like, we want to be entertaining people. That's all we really care about. Well, this is all I care about. But yes. Anyway, we're sidetracking. Thank you all very much for watching. Catch you next time. Bye.
Friends.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.